What is up, guys? This is Chad with Living the Van Life up here in the Pacific Northwest, coming to you from the editing studio here where I do all of my editing here in the Pacific Northwest when I am not on the road. And welcome to another live stream. Super stoked to have all of you guys here on board. Here we are. Got lots of people joining on the live chat here. I jumped on there a little bit beforehand and have been chatting with you guys. So super cool to see all of you guys here. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a live stream. So I'm actually, like I said, I'm here in the edit studio and trying out some of this equipment here for the live stream. I've actually got my Canon EOS R5. That is actually the same camera that I use out in the field for filming all of the videos. I've turned that into the webcam, so we should have some good quality video this evening, as well as a studio mic here. Check, check. Hopefully the sound is sounding good. That should be a nice upgrade on the audio as well. Normally I've been live streaming from my MacBook Pro laptop, which just has the FaceTime camera and the built-in microphone, and it's less than ideal. So hopefully this is coming through nice and clear, which is very, very cool. Yeah, gosh, lots of things happening. Been out in the Sprinter van for a few videos, kind of getting back on my feet after a long winter of building the Sprinter van in the warehouse. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos and getting back at it. So I definitely missed being out in the van, out in the backcountry, creating the films, because that's really what it's all about, is being out there, being in the outback, being behind the camera and just creating. So that's why all of this started. That's why I started living in my van in the first place. So, definitely good to be back out there doing that stuff. So huge shout out to everybody that is joining on board the live stream. It looks like at this point we've got about 296 people. I expect that'll probably keep growing for a little bit. So we'll just chat. I've got a little bit of a list of things to talk about. A lot of the common questions that have been showing up lately in the comments, which is a great forum for everybody to participate and voice questions, leave feedback, etc. So I've kind of made a list of that kind of stuff that we'll talk about. There is a few super chats coming through, which is very cool. Rocco in super chat for $10. Really appreciate it. Have a beer on me. Thanks, Rocco. I definitely will have a beer on you. And Scooter's Place in there for a super chat of $20. So guys, thanks much. Really appreciate that. Very cool to see that coming through. So yeah, just hanging out this evening. The weather up here in the Pacific Northwest has been actually very, very great. We are typically we are, always known for having a lot of rain, but our spring, I would say, has been exceptionally nice. So that's been very, very cool. Let's see. Yes. All right. Answering a few messages here while we're on it. And let's see. What's up, everybody? We got more people joining on board. Like I said, figure we'd just chat here for a little bit while everybody jumps on board. It's always hard to try and figure out an exact time that is good to do these live streams, because we have people joining in from all over the world. And so for some people, it's in the middle of the night. For some people, it's early in the morning. Here in the US, it is in the evening time. So it's hard to be able to catch everybody on that. But these videos, these live streams, I do go ahead and just post on the channel so people can catch up to them and see the live discussion anytime they want by jumping on the channel. There's a section of live stream videos where you can watch past ones. So that is cool. Let's see. We got another super chat from Brendan. Brendan, thanks so much. Talking about making my way out to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, New England. Yes, that would be very cool to be able to make it out into the East Coast. That would be very, very cool. So yeah, like I said, I am here in the edit studio, and this is a tiny little spot that I've got in my hometown that is in the basement of an old building downtown. In fact, this is a space here that is about 200 square feet. And being in a basement, it's actually pretty nice for editing. That way, when I need to hunker down and get some editing done, I can just focus and make that happen. So that's where we're coming to you from this evening. But it's great. It's down inside of an old basement of a building. And it's funny, anytime I bring people down here, they say it smells like an old library or an old dentist's office. But the cool thing is we were able to remodel this little tiny space, repaint it, put some flooring in it, and it's a cool, comfortable little spot. So, but yeah, and it's funny. There's a lot of people that I don't know. Of course, there's always trolls. There's always haters that are out there wanting to comment on stuff and insist that I don't actually live in my van full time, which I just find comical because I don't know why I would need to lie about that or anything like that. But I definitely do live in my van full time. And it's funny because a lot of people say, see, I told you he doesn't live in his van full time. He's got an edit studio. And, my van is parked outside, and I spend every single night in my van, whether it's in the parking lot or elsewhere when I'm out on the road, etc. But I kind of attribute that to, somebody who lives in an apartment or in a house, but they go to work in an office. Just because they go to work in an office, does that mean that they actually don't live in a house just because they have an office? It's kind of the same thing. I spend a lot of hours editing these short films. So, it's nice to be able to come in here and focus on work when I'm not on the road. When I'm out on the road traveling, I do edit in the van, or I'll hit up a random coffee shop and I'll edit there. So yes, that's kind of how things go down. Okay, got a couple more super chats coming in. James for $14, $15. James is from Kentucky. Hello, James. And thank you for the kind words about the content. Really appreciate that. And as far as some whiskey, talking about some Kentucky bourbon whiskey, I do love my Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Tonight, when I get into it, I will pour a whiskey and enjoy a whiskey with you guys, but it is actually going to be some Canadian Club for this evening. So, but yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. And we've got AV Digital Productions with 5 British pounds coming in from London. Hello from London. Do you miss anything from the old van? We'll get definitely more into the old Vanagon for sure. Definitely there's lots of things that I do miss about it. I do miss the van. I still have the van. I still have the old Vanagon. So, not that I miss it or have to miss it. I've got it. I can go out anytime I want and use it. But we'll get more into that later. So, AV Digital Productions, thank you for the super chat. So, guys, right now there is 520 viewers that are on this live stream right now, which is very, very cool. And it's people from all over the world. And of course, we've got tons of comments coming through on the live chat, which is very cool to sit here and read. So with so many comments coming through, I do my best to jump in here and grab these comments as they come through. So if I don't get to it, I do apologize. I do have a few friends and family that are also monitoring the chat, and as common questions come up, they are helping me field those, and they actually text them to me, so I'm able to hopefully get to those as they come along. So I really appreciate their help on this, because these live streams can get quite overwhelming for sure, which is awesome. It's just a sign of, how much the channel has grown, and it's so cool to see people literally from all over the world jumping in and being part of this. So super, super cool. Got another super chat from Greg Miller for $4.99. You are living my dream. At least someone is getting to. Greg, I really appreciate that. That is very, very, very cool. I feel fortunate to be living the life that I'm getting to live. And I tell you what, it's been a lot of sacrifice to get to this point. But I set my sight on some goals quite some time ago, and have just always pushed in that. And, for a lot of years, just really have believed in living that dream, because we've only got one shot at this. As my good friend Sean was talking about today, he was, we were talking about how you've just got, one shot at this. It's not a dress rehearsal. So you got to live life to the max. Let's see. What do we got here? We've also got a super chat from Matt for $5. Matt, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see here. And then we've got Chuck-a-Doodle-Doo for a super chat of $19.99. Appreciate that, guys. That's very, very cool. Matt, for the we've got another super chat, and thanks for pointing that out. Much appreciated. Matt Sinister for $5 on a super chat. That one went by quick. I'm sorry I missed that. I tried making one of your recipes. I screwed it up big time. Love your channel. When will we get a tour of the Sprinter? And that is another thing that is on my list of things to talk about, is the video tour of the Sprinter. But Matt, tried making one of my recipes, screwed it up big time. Hey, you know what? At least you're getting out there, you're trying it. And to be honest with you, I don't know. Like, I am by far no cook. I mean, both of my parents were amazing cooks, so I had good role models there. But I'm by no means any sort of professional, and every single recipe that I try on camera is definitely an experiment. And sometimes they go right, and sometimes they go wrong. But it's just all about getting out there and trying it. So that is very, very cool. Gosh, and another super chat from Michael Callan, $159, and I apologize, $160. I apologize. There's an A in front of it. I'm not sure if YouTube's saying that's Australian dollars. Typically that's an AUD, but holy cow, that is freaking phenomenal, and that is very much appreciated. Thank you very much for your generosity there. Small donation towards the van build, and that's very, very cool. Yes. So sorry, guys. These comments just fly by. And let's see. Lots of them to try and catch up with here. We got a super chat from Abdul. Abdul, $5. I'm thinking that is Canadian dollars. Either way, it's $5. interior tour of the Sprinter van win. And yes, that will be coming your way for sure. We'll be talking more about that. Junior T, awesome videos as always, showing some love from Pierce and King County. Currently working on my 19 Colorado ZR2 as an overland vehicle. Very cool. That means that, so Pierce and King County, so that's on our side of the state here in Western Washington. That brings me to one of the other common questions. And of course, I understand that over the last 6 to 8 months, there has been a lot of change here on the Living the Van Life channel as far as just the vehicle. Introducing the Sprinter van. Everybody loves the old Vanagon. I love the old Vanagon. So there's a lot of change. And so I'm doing my best to try and stay on top of this change and not change too much. But nonetheless, it's just trying to keep this freight train headed in the right direction. So one thing I've been doing is just there's a ton of questions in the comments. So I've got a list of questions that we're going to address. And one of those is the California plates, which is something extremely funny that I think there are so many people, literally guys, dozens and dozens and dozens of you guys are very concerned about the California plates on my vehicle. Something extremely small. I thought there was definitely bigger things to be concerned about or curious about. But anyways, we're going to talk about the California plates. It comes down to as simple as I purchased the Sprinter van in California. A lot of people think I'm moving to California or I have moved to California. What's the deal? Yada, yada, yada. Truth of the matter is I purchased the van in California. In order to purchase the van, it had to be registered there. So, there is 1 year's worth of registration paid in California, and I haven't been in a hurry to transfer it up to Washington. So hopefully that answers a lot of your guys' questions about why I've got California plates. It's as simple as that. But I thought it was very comical how many people were concerned about that. So hopefully that answers your guys' questions about the California plates. With that, let's see. The other common question is the van tour. Everybody wants to know when the van tour video of the new Sprinter is coming. That is probably one of the other biggest, the most asked questions on the channel. And that is, the Vanagon. The Vanagon is here. I still have the Vanagon. I still own the Vanagon. And I still plan on doing more with it. Now, let's keep in mind that this old Vanagon has 310,000 miles on this Vanagon. I have put 5 different motors in the Vanagon. I've had 3 or 4 different transmissions in the Vanagon. I have completely rebuilt the Vanagon from the ground up. And that Vanagon in the last 10 years has gotten me all over the Western United States and more. And that thing is tired. It's extremely tired. In fact, it uses about a quart of oil every other fuel stop. And it gets less than 200 miles to a tank. So I mean, we're talking, so every 400 miles or so, it uses a quart of oil. And, so the old Vanagon needs a break, and it's been taking a break. It is parked at the storage unit where I was working on building the Sprinter van. And so it's there. The Vanagon is here to stay. I miss the Vanagon. But at the same time, I still have the Vanagon, so technically it's not like it's gone. But yeah, I mean, the Vanagon was special. I miss it on the videos just as much as you guys. But what it comes down to is that life is all about growth. Life is all about moving forward and progressing. So, while everybody loves the old Vanagon to the max, it's just not possible to keep living in that thing full time and go out and do the stuff that we want to do. So that's, the Sprinter is something that I've had my sights set on for a long time. It's something that I've worked hard to get into. They are not cheap by any means, but, kind of what I compare it to is when we all, graduate high school and we go off to college, we find ourselves living minimally in, small apartments or college dorms while we get ourselves on our feet. And eventually we go out and we, earn a bigger living so that we can earn a bigger living space. That's kind of how society, I feel like, works and most of the world works. And I'm no different than you guys. If I were to stay in the Vanagon, that's like staying in my very first college apartment or, whatever it may be for the rest of my life. So you guys got to remember that this isn't just a YouTube channel. This is actually where I live and, how I live. So being able to upgrade to the Sprinter van is my way of doing that. So the Vanagon's here. I don't have any plans of selling the Vanagon. The Vanagon is so special to me. It's completely responsible for getting this channel to where it's at. It's completely responsible for the start of this channel. It got me, out of living in society's box and moving forward. And it got me into filmmaking. It got me into photography. It was my means of getting into that and making a career change. And the amount of adventures that I have had since then have been astronomical, absolutely astronomical. And so, yeah, the Vanagon means a lot to me. And it's not something that I'm just going to throw up on Craigslist and sell to the next person that comes along with any sort of money. Ideally, if I can figure out a way to store it within a reasonable means for the next year or two, I wouldn't mind putting some money into getting a solid engine back into it again and going out and doing more with it. I love driving the Vanagon. There's a lot of things I miss about it, and while the Sprinter van is nice and comfortable and it's fancy and, it's reliable, it doesn't have quite the same character as the Vanagon does. So I just want everybody to realize that I feel the same way about it, and I'm all in the same boat with you guys. Sorry, I'm going to just go up and catch up on a few of these super chats that came by as I was going on my Vanagon rant. Derek, for a $5 donation, a super chat. Thanks for sharing the journey. Derek, honestly, thank you for being part of the channel, and thank all of you guys. It's all of you guys that are here on the live stream tonight. It's all of you guys that have been watching all of these videos, coming on board as subscribers, and just all of the support. It's you guys that keep me coming back and sharing this journey. So it's the least that I can do. That's what I love to do as a filmmaker, is telling these stories of these adventures and getting to share them with an audience like you guys. Let's Mountain Bike in Kentucky with a $5 super chat. Very cool. Much appreciated. And then moving on, Joey Rideout with a $5 super chat. Help for another bottle of that delicious Canadian Club. And Mr. Joey Rideout, just got to say, one of the best dudes on earth that I know right there is Mr. Joey Rideout. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. He's been a good friend for a long time. He's a fellow Vanagon owner, and we've had plenty of conversations, him and I, of and LDOT, of course, of what it means to be in these crazy Vanagons and what Vanagons mean and their special vehicles. Joey's been all over the world with us doing film projects. We went to Australia for, almost a month and went out into the outback. So Joey was part of that. And Joey, cheers, buddy. Put it towards, I'll put your super chat towards some more whiskey. But we've definitely enjoyed some Canadian Club together over the years. in these crazy vans. So with that, I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's some whiskey right there. Let's cheers to that, guys, to van life, to subscribers, to the YouTube channel, to all these adventures that we've had over the years, and to more coming our direction. Cheers to that. That's good. That is good. Some good old Canadian Club. Gotta love it. Let's see. Jumping into some other super chats here. Eric VM with a $10 super chat. Just wanted to say I really appreciate the production that goes into your videos, and the work doesn't go unnoticed. Ever plan to do a tour of the U.S. in the van? Eric, thank you very much. That really means a lot. That is one thing that I've really pushed myself to do, is that I want every video to be better than the last, and always pushing myself, always pushing my equipment to grow and expand and become better and better. And so with that kind of mentality, it becomes a lot of work. In the moment, it's a lot of work, but the fact that you guys notice that, and that you guys appreciate it and see it, then that right there means a lot to me. And that's what really, it's all the comments from people like yourself that really keep me going out there and, you know, pushing harder on it. So I appreciate that. And do I ever plan to do a tour of the U.S. in the van? Absolutely, yes. And that's one thing with the Sprinter van. I've told you guys on this channel for a long time that my plan with the Sprinter van was not just to you know, be lazy and live in luxury, but to go do bigger and better adventures. I've been doing all of this stuff in a van that was approaching 300,000 miles, and now over 300,000 miles. And like I said, 5 engines later, etc. So to really get out there and do a big tour of the U.S. just was something that was a little bit of a challenge. So with the Sprinter van, definitely hoping to get out there and do more stuff like that. Bigger tour. Let's go up into Canada. Let's go up to the Arctic Circle. Let's go down to Baja. Let's go to Central America, South America. How about around the world? I don't know. Anyways, so Eric, you got me off on a tangent there, but thank you for that. And then Chuck-a-Doodle-Doo, $4.99 super chat. Does the new Sprinter van feel top heavy at home? The wife and I are loving all your new videos. Chuck-a-Doodle-Doo. That's a great name, by the way, and that's really fun to say. Appreciate it. Glad you and the wife love it. The Sprinter van, does it feel top heavy? No, actually, the Sprinter van does not feel. It doesn't feel top heavy. And that's the great thing about German engineering and what Mercedes has put into their vehicles, and the fact that they put it into these Sprinter vans. But these things, for the size of vehicle they actually handle very, very amazing. And then with the awesome engineering that the folks over at Van Compass have put into their suspension upgrades, that's a special shout out to Rob and Mark over at Van Compass. They are fellow Pacific Northwesterners, and they're responsible for putting the big, awesome suspension that is now in the Sprinter van. That even upgraded it beyond what Mercedes already had into it. And so with all of that, the Mercedes doesn't feel top heavy at all. It looks like it because it's so tall, but really and truly, it's all that there is at the top of the van is really some sheet metal, some structure, etc. So it's not a ton of weight up top. So yeah, it actually does very, very well. And hopefully that answers your question, brings some insight to that. And that's actually been one of the common questions or comments on the channel in the comment section. So hopefully that answers a lot of all y'all's questions about that. Let's see. Moving down to some more super chat. Let's see. We got Torres. I'm going to go with that for the names. Hey, Chad. Hello from Eureka. Humboldt County has some amazing places to see. Nothing like the Redwood Forest. And that is very cool. I can completely agree with you there. I haven't spent a ton of time down in the Redwoods. I've driven through it a few times, been able to stop in and just, check it passing through, but it's very cool, and I would love to get back there. So thanks for the super chat. That's very cool. Van Gray, $10 super chat. I get so excited about your Dutch oven cooking in the mountains. Love your content. Thanks for all the hard work. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Dutch oven is cooking is a lot of fun. It's cool how experimental it is. I love just throwing stuff in there, and there's so many options. You can do so many different things, and you can have gourmet meals out in the wilderness. I mean, Dutch oven cooking has been around for centuries, I feel like, in different capacities, one way or another. I always think of the old cowboys and the wagon trains out there cooking in their Dutch ovens. And I'm sure they've had some amazing meals, but those guys paved the way so that we can get out and enjoy stuff like that. So yeah, I get excited about the cooking in the mountains. That's cool. Love your content. Thanks for all your hard work. Thank you very much for the kind words. Very, very much appreciated. Let's see. Lots of super chats coming through, guys. Trying to catch up on all these. It's a lot to keep up with, so please bear with me there as I work through this stuff. Please do vlogs. Love the recent day in the life vlog. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you much for the comment. Yeah, honestly, maybe I'll kind of take this opportunity here to dive into that. And the last vlog was kind of a little bit of a fresh air for me of just like, you know what? I put so much pressure on myself, like I talked about in one of the other comments or responding to one of the other comments, that I'm always trying to push myself to do better and better and make the next video better than the last. And that becomes exhausting. And it begins to feel like every video that I go out, I need to have a bigger adventure and a bigger message. And this last video that I did of just taking you guys on the road for a day was just my way of saying, you know what? I really need to get back to the roots. I really need to just focus on doing what I love. And that's, traveling, seeing the sights, bringing you guys with me. And, that's a lot of what made the channel successful back in the day. So it was a lot easier work for me to do it. It was fun for that breath of fresh air. So I'm glad that you guys are actually feeling the same about it too. And it was a good reminder for me that, videos can be nice and simple, and they can yet still be fun and well accepted by the audience. So very, very cool. Let's see. We got Beep Beep for a $5 super chat. What is the navigation app software you are using in the Sprinter van? That's a very good question. And the next video that I'm going to be releasing actually talks about that and gets into it a little bit. There is a section in the video. That video should be out here this week, and it talks about it. But I actually use a couple of different apps. One of the biggest upgrades that I have done to the vans is adding one of the bigger iPads that I use. And I put it on a mount on the dash, and that's what I use for my navigation. And so being able to use it, I know it's available on our phones, but being able to use it on an iPad and having the size is very, very good. So this is what I use here, I use a big iPad. It gives you lots of space to be able to, zoom in and find your route, etc. So I like to use an iPad, over using an iPhone or a phone size device. Having it on the iPad is very nice. Actually, BFG has been a huge supporter of the channel, and they outfitted the Sprinter van with BFG tires. As you guys know, over the years in the past, I've used BFG tires on the Vanagon. And so the fact that they are a supporter of the Living the Van Life YouTube channel was huge for me, because BFG is just a great name in the off-road community. And they approached me a few months ago and let me know that they are developing a navigation application for doing exactly this, exactly what I do out in the Outback. And so when I heard that BFG was developing a navigation app for off-road travel, I was like, hell yeah, there's nobody better to do it than themselves. So I am going to be adding the BFG On Trail app to my library of navigation apps. When it comes down to it, honestly, it's a good idea to have a couple different applications on your device that you're comfortable with, because each application can have different information in different areas, or different tools, etc. So I actually use a combination of the BFG On Trail app. I also use Gaia GPS, which is a very great map application, and I also use OnX Off-Road. Those are the three that I mainly use now, and it's very good. So, anyways, Beep Beep, thanks for the super chat, very much appreciated. And I know I'm getting behind on these guys. It's a ton of information. So, another super chat, JRT. Do you mind telling me what route you took to get to the campground above Lake Chelan that you did a couple of videos ago? Gosh. I'd have to, let's see here. Since we're doing a live chat here and we've got a super chat, I went in, let's see here. I'll tell you where I went in and started at, the name of the road. I don't know that there's actually a, this will help you get started in the right direction. But I went in on Wapato. Let's go with Wapato Lake Road. And that's going to be on the north shore of Lake Chelan off of State Route 150. And you basically go up Wapato Lake Road, and that ends up going off into a series of dirt roads. And I stayed on the kind of the lowest series of roads that went along the shore. That'll help you get you in the right direction. Let's see. The name of that road would be Grade Creek Road. Sorry, I was just actually pulling up Gaia here and looking at that at the route where I was. So perfect timing for that question. Hopefully that helps, and thank you for the donation. Very much appreciated. Mike Alessandri with a $10 donation. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate the super chat, and thank you for being a part of the channel. Much appreciated. And let's see. Gosh, some of these names that pop up on here, I try to make sure and get it correct, but we have a $50 super chat from Weltalad. Weltalid 123. Sorry if I butchered that. Some of these screen names are hard to translate to what they really mean. But anyway, sorry. Cheers. You can put this towards Sprinter fuel. Your vids continue to be an escape from my New York apartment. Would you ever visit Cerro Gordo? Not too familiar. Actually, I'd have to, I'm not sure what Cerro Gordo is, but there's one way to find out. Let's jump in here and just do a quick Google search. Ooh, Cerro Gordo Mines. Let's see where this is at. We are looking at, Lone Pine, so we must be Eastern California. Okay. Yeah, I see where you're at there. Yeah. Oh, I see. It's out there by Death Valley National Park. Yeah, I think that'd be actually pretty cool. I love it out there, and that's one of the areas that I would love to get out to with the Sprinter van and do some exploring out in the desert around Death Valley. So yes, that would be very cool. I'd love to go check that out. And thank you very much for the $50 super chat. Very much appreciated. And let's see. I know we got another one in here. Bear with me as I try to find this. Let's see. We've got a $20. We got a donation. We got a super chat. Let's put it that way. Some of these designations, there's people from all over the world that come in for these live streams, and I know people from all over the world are watching the channel, so it's very cool. I'm just gonna go with a $20 super chat. Not sure. It's looks like from Brazil, but it says say hello to Brazil. And Brazil, hello, and thank you for being part of the channel. They say, we truly appreciate your content. Amazing landscape adventure, my man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. Thank you for the super chat. That is very, very cool. That's much appreciated. Okay. I think we're caught up on that. We had a run of super chats, and I know there's a ton of you guys that are asking questions in the comments. And I don't expect you guys to have to do the super chats in order to get your questions answered. Just between the list of stuff that I want to talk about, and as well as the super chats that I do need to address because people are donating to the channel. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to get to everybody and all that good stuff. So I'm going to pause with that and get a drink of water. And a sip of whiskey, of course. And the other thing, lots and lots of people are always asking about Ann in a Van. And where's Ann in a Van? When is Ann in a Van coming back? We need an Ann in a Van update. Ann in a Van is doing great. We talk on a daily basis. Yes, in fact, there she is. Right there in the comments, Ann in a Van. There she is. Anyways, Ann, she's doing great. She is living out in Queensland, and she's doing very, very well for herself and chasing her dreams. And yeah, continuing on in a lot of the conversations that we always had shared together about chasing each other's dreams and encouraging each other. So yeah, we talk on a daily basis. Anytime I'm stressing out about what I'm going to do with the channel and how I'm going to deal with the stress of making sure all my content is headed in the right direction. Anytime my mind is like off kilter, like, oh my God, what I'm going to do. Ann in a Van always swoops in with the good words that she has to say. So special shout out to her for keeping me on the straight and narrow anytime I'm off kilter and headed in a different direction. So she's in the comments. So everybody say hello to Ann in a Van. She is obviously watching. So super stoked to do that. I chatted with her right before I jumped on the live stream. And so she definitely knew this was happening. Okay. We got a plethora of other super chats. Beth Kemper, $10 super chat. Love your videos. You need to come see all the waterfalls and rock formations in Shawnee Forest in southern Illinois. That is very, very cool. I would love to. That would be super awesome. Some of the waterfalls that you see out there on the East Coast or the Midwest in that area. I mean, we've got crazy awesome waterfalls in the Cascades, but some of the waterfalls you see over there on that part of the country look to be pretty phenomenal. So Beth, thank you so much for the idea of coming over and checking out those waterfalls, and thank you for the $10 super chat. Very much appreciated. We also got another super chat by Van Gray. He says, "It's me again. Ignore me. Just wanted to contribute more because." So, hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's all this stuff that goes towards making these adventures possible. It's your guys' generosity. It's your guys, putting up with the ads. That's what helps pay the bills. And I know it's less than ideal, but it's a lot of work. It's expensive to, outfit yourself to go out and do these adventures. So, which I want to talk about that if I get a chance. It's on my list of things to talk about. But so yes, I'm basically saying thank you for all of the super chat donations, and just thank all of you guys for being here on the live stream. We're at 575 people. I'm sorry, 583 current viewers. So that's pretty amazing. And they're from all over the world. Christian Galdamez, what are some of your dream places you'd want to visit someday? New vid was amazing. By the way, Cascades look gnarly. Christian, thank you so much. Christian's always a big participant here on the channel. I see his name in the comments and always on the live stream. So Christian, thank you very much. What are some of the dream places that I'd like to visit someday? I'd like to get up into the Yukon. I would say probably closest on my forefront would be Baja. I would love to go get lost on the Baja for a couple months at a time with the Sprinter and just exploring the back roads of Baja and what all it has to offer. I've been talking about that for a long time, and I think it's close. The Sprinter van is going to be built for adventures down there, and that's going to be coming up. So thanks again. Appreciate that. Sherwin Francisco with a $20 super chat. Guys, this is just amazingly awesome. You guys are phenomenal. I really appreciate everybody's generosity here on the channel and putting all these donations forward. So thank you very much. Kurt with a $10 super chat says, Chad, my man, I love the content. Now that you've got yourself a brand new van, you should really, if you get a chance, come up to New York, Adirondack Mountains. Yes, I have heard a lot about that particular area, and that sounds very, very phenomenal. I would love to get up there and check out that area. And it's getting closer to be able to do stuff like that. I've got some things to do yet on the Sprinter van before I can really head out of town here, and I'm working on making that stuff happen, but I got a little bit of time before I can hit the road on a longer trip. Christian Galdamez, again with a $2 super chat. What are some of the things that you don't like about the Sprinter? Even though, the Sprinter has amazing handling when it comes to a highway, it's a beautiful ride. It's confident on highways when you're, going around corners and stuff. It handles great. But when it comes down to it, it is built like a 3/4 ton pickup truck. And for anybody that's spent a good amount of time out off-road in a heavy-duty 3/4 ton pickup truck knows that it's not the best ride when it comes to off-road and handling rough terrain like all of you guys have seen in the Vanagon. So that's one thing that I'm learning to adjust to, especially with the help of the folks over at Van Compass. Their suspension upgrade has been tremendous at helping improve the ride off-road, but it is still one of the things that is left to be desired with the Sprinter van. It just doesn't hold a candle to how nimble and how smooth the 4-wheel independent suspension was on the Vanagon. So that's a great question, Christian. Hopefully that answers that, brings some insight to some of the things that I don't like about it. And there's definitely a list of things. I definitely don't feel like the van is, the Sprinter van is like no problems. No holds bar best or better over the Vanagon. There's definitely some things that I don't particularly care for with the Sprinter van. Man, as I scroll through the comments here, looks like Ann in a van definitely getting a lot of love in the chat, so that's super cool. She's always been a huge hit in the videos that she was in. Everybody always loved the Ann in the Van videos, so that's cool that everybody's shouting out to her there. Let's see. Making sure I'm not missing any of these as I work my way down. I'm way behind at this point. Serpent655. Travis, 31, live in Bonnie Lake. Been fishing Skagit for 28 years. Huge dollies. Typically camp at New Halem. Check out the waterfall lights at the powerhouse at nighttime. Maybe I'll see you one day. Cheers. Travis, thank you so much for the super chat and the donation. Very much appreciated. Bonnie Lake, that's a fellow Western Washingtonian there. And yes, the waterfall lights at the powerhouse at night are actually very, very cool. Well, I'm sorry, correction. I've never actually been there at night, but I've seen the lights. I've been there at that spot in the daytime. It's actually one of my favorite spots to stop at on the way over the North Cascades Highway. Unfortunately, I didn't stop at that spot in the video. Kind of by the time I went through there on this last trip, I was done filming and didn't make it by there. But yeah, it's I'd love to stop by there at night and check that out. It's a very cool spot back in there. So thanks for sharing that. Very much appreciated. Let's see here. All right. I think we're caught up on those super chats. Let's jump into some of the other things that we've got going on. Foresty Forest. Let's talk about Foresty Forest. I see Foresty Forest pop up. His name pop up quite a bit in the comments, and I actually I stay in touch with Foresty Forest. We communicate over Instagram, and we're always sharing fun van life stories or questions or just communicating. Foresty Forest has been fairly close by. He is, as all of you guys know, we share a lot of the same common subscribers, which I think is very cool. Both van lifers, but he is up in Canada and I am just south of the border here in the USA. And unfortunately, because of the borders being closed with COVID, we haven't been able to meet up and collaborate on a video, which I think it would be very, very cool for both of us to be able to do that. As soon as the borders open, perhaps we can make that happen. But in the meantime, we're held back by the borders. Let's see. Also, Solo Stove. Why are you not using the Solo Stove anymore? Gosh, it's been one appearance on a video that I didn't use the Solo Stove. But, yeah, trying something different, there's lots of great products out there. There's lots of other options for fire pits. So yeah, trying out something that fits in a little more compact. You guys will see more of the other fire pit that I'm trying out in a future upcoming video. So that will be happening. You guys will see more of that. But I'm actually pretty stoked on the new fire pit. It's something different. And yeah, who knows? I got no obligation to use a Solo Stove. So using this new one is it's cool to try out. Also see somebody here mentioning in the comments, meet up with Mav. I would love to, actually. I really enjoy Mav's videos. I love how they are the vlog style. I love how simple they are. They're part of what remind me to get back to the old school, just simple vlog style stuff. So I also have been in communication with Mav over Instagram. So it's cool to bounce stuff back and forth. He actually messaged me like a year ago on Instagram, and I just get bombarded with massive amounts of Instagram messages. So I'm not able to actually see all of the messages all the time. But anyways, when I went to reach out to Mav, turned out that he had already reached out to me a year ago. And so we've shared a few messages back and forth, but I think it would be cool to meet up. Hey, and right there, look it is. It's the man himself, Foresty Forest, making an appearance here in the live stream, in the comments. I'm assuming he was here to hear us talking about Foresty Forest. And I watch Foresty's videos just like you guys. And it's cool to see him, using the drones. And gosh, the mountains that guy climbs is pretty unreal. And of course, loving his van life cooking and the cool stuff that he does. So that's super cool to see Foresty Forest doing his thing. And the diesel heater stuff. He's been trying out some of these different diesel heater pumps, and which is cool. He's been kind of the guinea pig on that, but he's always quick to pass along the information of anything good that he finds out. So I definitely appreciate Foresty for doing that. Let's see. Yeah, real quick, got another super chat from No Smog. Do you miss the Moto MX scene? Looking forward to the outdoor Nats, which are outdoor nationals. Hell yeah, I miss the Moto scene. That was one of my first opportunities. I mean, I grew up racing motocross and was a major fan. And when I first started finding my passion for photography and for filmmaking, it definitely, I realized that my passion for photography and filmmaking both lie in the motocross industry. And that was one of my huge first opportunities of, doing anything professionally, was in the motocross industry with my photography and stuff like that. So yeah, I miss doing that, but have done a bunch of other stuff in the motorcycle industry with working all sorts of big brands and getting to do, the documentaries, and all of that is all tied in with what I've been able to do with the YouTube channel and all that stuff. So yes, I do miss the motocross scene. Sorry, I get rambling. There's just so much information that flows through these live streams. Let's see. I've got a couple other things that would be cool to address. I think one of the interesting things has been the pressure to try and keep up with the demands of YouTube and social media, and the fact that there ends up being a giant audience that comes on board, which is freaking phenomenal. And I think that's the interesting thing, the interesting phenomena that happens with this kind of thing. The fact that there is 520,000 subscribers that, subscribe to the channel, that watch the videos. That's an overwhelming large audience. And the interesting thing about it is that it's all online. And I see the number of 520,000 subscribers, and it's wild, but you never see that number face to face. And I think of like a rock band or a famous musician that maybe goes out and does a live show. And let's say they sell out Wembley Stadium. And what's Wembley Stadium? Like some crazy 80,000, 100,000. And I think of what it must be like to step out on stage in front of 100,000 people, and what that would look like to that person standing on stage. And it's crazy to think that, these YouTube channels that we've all worked hard for have audiences that are even bigger than that. But yet we're just a solo guy with a camera in a van up in the mountains creating content. So we never see those crowds face to face. And so it never truly like settles into like what that number means. But regardless, there becomes a pressure of, wanting to put out better and better content, and wanting to do bigger adventures, wanting to get bigger, more capable vans. And yeah, the whole idea of living in a van was to start living minimally, learn to live within my means. And that afforded me to make some very drastic changes in my life and start pointing myself in the direction of becoming a professional filmmaker and a professional photographer, and allowed me to be more free. It allowed me to do what I love. But as the channel grows, then there is this pressure where you feel like you need to keep up with the demands and always be bigger and bigger and bigger. Just bigger adventures and better films and better cinematography and better stories. And, I spent 3-4 months solid in a shop, literally solid in a shop, working on the Sprinter van and spending the time building that thing. And that it was getting out of my groove of, as I was out last summer and last fall, I got in a really good groove of knowing exactly what I needed to film. You guys got in a groove of you knew what to expect from me in the videos, and I was in a good spot. And, as far as just being able to produce the, good content efficiently, and we were out on some amazing adventures in the Vanagon, and things were flowing. And then I came back to spend 3 or 4 months literally locked in a shop, building the Sprinter van and trying to get that off. And, so really the last few videos have just been my attempt to, get out into a new van, get out and pick up where I left off with the content, and kind of expect to just fall into my groove of where I was before. And, it's been a challenge. So I know there's, been a ton of comments that maybe weren't so positive of what I'm used to seeing on the channel. And I appreciate the honest feedback of like, hey, Chad, this feels different, or, oh, hey, this video sucked. And like, as Forrest D. Forrest knows, and any other, YouTube content creators or any social media, the comments can be harsh at times. And that's part of, being a content creator, is that, you've got to grow a thick skin. You've got to learn to weed through all that and realize that the good positive comments far outweigh the negative comments. So anyways, it's been a challenge. I'm just like you guys. I struggle with day-to-day life. I struggle with, trying to find happiness in what I do all the time. It's not all fun and games when it comes to van life. It's not all fun and games when it comes to, making great videos. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. And sometimes I have off days. So, if there's a video that comes across and it might not necessarily be the best video that I put out, be patient, and hopefully in the next, more videos that come out, then I find my direction. But I'm just like you guys and struggle, have bad days, I have off days. It's not all fun and games when it's out here. I think that's what, of course, that's what I do as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, is I love to tell that story of, guys, this is what it's like when you can go out and camp, and everybody gets to sit back and enjoy the camping. But you got to remember that there is a lot of work that goes behind it. All the different camera angles, all the thinking, all the planning, all the okay, basically as I'm out there filming that, I am editing all of this in my head as I'm shooting these shots, and I'm editing it in camera so that when I come back to the studio, it flows together well. So it's not just going out and pouring a whiskey and sitting around the campfire. I wish that was the case, but it's a lot of work that goes behind it. And I think that, that's my goal as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, is just giving you guys what's important to, for you guys to enjoy it, and for you guys to feel like you get an escape to, sit out and enjoy some time around the campfire with Chad from Living the Van Life. So, I don't know. I feel like it's important for, us creators to talk about the amount of work that goes into it. I have been hugely inspired over the years by the likes of Casey Neistat, who has really paved the way for YouTube content creators to make be able to make a full-time living. And Casey has been a huge inspiration, and we share a lot of the same characteristics or history of filmmaking and getting into it way back in the early 2000s. So I've really followed that guy a lot for inspiration to keep me going anytime I thought like, gosh, I'm really struggling here. So I've really been doing a lot of research of how Casey has dealt with it in his later years and watching some of his later podcasts. And another one, Peter McKinnon. So anyways, I think it's good for YouTubers to talk about what it takes to keep up with the demands of a channel that you've got 520,000 screaming subscribers that want more and more and more and better and better and better. And when a video comes out a little bit sideways, there's definitely always, quick judgment or quick criticism on it. And I appreciate the honest feedback. There's a lot of very, very honest feedback. And I really do appreciate that because I don't believe in just posting and ghosting and never reading the comments. I use that for a lot of direction. If I've gone sideways on a video and I need to steer it back in the lines, then I appreciate your guys' honest feedback in that. So, and that's what I've done. That's what I've really strived to do. So appreciate that. Sorry, I need to jump back in here. We've had a few super chats kind of come by. Chickadoodle-doo. So we've got Chuckadoodle-doo, and then we've got Chickadoodle-doo with a $5 super chat. Love your videos. Thank you very much. Right there, it's that kind of feedback that keeps you going. So, and I do really want to emphasize that the amount of love that comes, and the positive feedback that comes through in the comments by far, absolutely by far outweighs any of the negative comments. And that is one thing that I have prided this channel on, is the fact that it breeds so much positivity. And that's something that I'm proud of. That's something that I'm happy to have that type of effect on my audience, and the fact that it does that for people. And I saw a comment come through here from Freedom Fries that your videos, my videos helped get him through tough times during COVID, and that amount of feedback has been endless. And there is some absolutely overwhelming and very moving comments that come through in that. So I do want to address that too, and that it does far outweigh the negative. But so that's very cool to see, and thank you for that. Codes in Coffee, a $10, $9.99 super chat. Big fan. Hey Chad, question. Your On the Trail video between 1815 and 1950, what did you hear while eating? Bigfoot, bear, and when's the pup joining on the Sprinter? Keep on trucking. Codes and Coffee, thank you very much. That's actually a really great question. And I did, that was my first trip after a very long amount of time in the shop, working on the van, not going out in the woods, and trying to get back on my feet. And when I headed out on that adventure, I was definitely off. I wasn't feeling my normal self about getting out there and doing a video. It's, just a matter of being in my groove. And when that day, it was just a little bit weird, like some anxieties out there, just doing my thing. But when I pulled into the camp spot, and I'm huge when it comes to figuring out a camp spot for the night, it's a lot of where my gut is. It's a lot of like where my heart is, and like, does this camp spot feel like home? I'm not the type of person that can just like, oh, here's a wide spot in the road, I'll just pull off here. There's something about it that is deep down in my gut that has to tell me like, hey, this is home. That evening, I had this weird intuition, and I immediately thought cougar as I was pulling in. And after knowing a lot of people that have had cougar encounters, a lot of friends that are hunters and have come across cougars, or even listening to other podcasts about hunters and up in the wilderness talking about cougar encounters, one thing they talk about is that you have this crazy intuition or this crazy gut feeling that something is watching you. And as I pulled into that, it was a little bit off. And so with already still trying to find my groove, I set up camp, I started cooking, and the sun was going down and it was dark. The birds had already started to quiet off for the evening. And as I was building, I think I was cooking. As I was cooking, I heard this gargle noise, and it was very resemblant of something like what a raven would make, but it was too late for a raven. It had already started getting dark, and usually birds just quiet down. And at first it didn't really hit me, but then after I thought about it for about 15 to 20 seconds, I was like, wait, that was something definitely different. And there was kind of a thumping off through the woods. So that was the initial thought of something was going down. But I had food on the stove. The video was running. I had a video to finish. I had to finish what I was doing. And so I kind of talked myself out of it, and I kept pushing forward with getting the video done. And so when I was sitting, from that point on, I was just hyper aware of every noise, like being aware, being alert, making sure I was completely aware of my surroundings. And so when I was sitting there and the camera was rolling, I was just sitting down for my dinner. I definitely heard something, but I was just being hyper aware and making sure that I just was aware of what was going on. And that's one of the nice things about having took the time while I was building out the Sprinter van to install the rigid scene lights. And if you guys notice on the, basically up on the roof line or on all four corners of the Sprinter van, I installed the rigid scene lights. And so I can turn all those lights on at once, and I can blast light on all four sides of the Sprinter van. So I threw those lights on, and I sat there and ate my dinner, and just made sure that I was aware of what was going on. So that is what, and since it happened on camera, I figured, you know what, I'm going to leave this in because, it just makes good drama and good storytelling to have that, because, we all wonder about that. What's it like out there all alone? And do you ever hear anything? So that's what was happening out there. And, yeah. Let's see. We got another super chat from Les Baker for $4.99. Les, thank you so much for being part of the channel, and thank you for the donation and helping keep these adventures rolling. Super stoked on that. Let's see. A couple more things here. Everybody's asking, and everybody is always asking in the comments about Lola and the dog. Where is the dog? When is there going to be, what happened to the dog, etc. So Lola is the family dog. We grew up with Queensland Blue Heelers, or Australian cattle dogs, as they're often referred to these days. We grew up with those. I think we had 5 or 6 over the years. And Lola is the latest. She is an Australian cattle dog, and she is just full of soul and full of personality. And she was my dad's dog, and she went everywhere with my dad, went to work with him every day, etc. And my dad passed away from COVID back in March of 2020. And so, of course, Lola has stayed with my mom, and so she's my mom's dog. She keeps my mom company on a full-time basis. However, last summer, when Lola was originally introduced to the channel, she came out to do some backcountry camping in the old Vanagon, and let's see. Anna Van's just giving a quick goodbye. She's checking out to go kick goals at work. So glad she got to tune in for a whiles. Enjoy, guys. Thanks, Ann and Van. Good seeing you on the chat here, and I'll chat you later on this evening. Thanks for joining in the chat. I know everybody loves to hear from you and give you their shout outs. Anyways, back to Lola. Last summer, she got introduced to the channel. She came out for a few backcountry campouts, and she absolutely loved it. And I loved having her on board in the van, and everybody loved seeing her on screen. So she will be making more appearances come this summer. In fact, hopefully in the next few weeks. I definitely miss having her out and about with me. So definitely. Guys, let's sip to some whiskey. Let's cheer to some more van life. And let's have a sip. What's everybody drinking out there? Everybody drinking whiskey? What's everybody sipping? Got your beer, wine? Where are we at? And I think one of the cool things, let's jump out right now. We've got let's see, we've got 563 viewers on the live stream right now. And let's give a shout out. Let's where's everybody from? Everybody that's watching the live stream right now. Let's jump into the chat. Let us know what part of the world you're in, and let's see where this goes. This is going to get crazy. Everybody take a look here at where everybody is signing in from. Of course, there's a little bit of a delay on my part. It's I'd say it's maybe about a 10-second delay. But yeah, here we go. Now we start seeing what everybody's drinking, and then we also are seeing where everybody is from, what part of the country, what part of the world. There we go. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, that is freaking phenomenal. Guys, that is so cool. Look at that. Are you guys seeing this go by? Oh man. That is cool. Guys, special cheers to all of you guys from all over the world. So cool to see that just go crazy. That chat stream just turns into like a racetrack. Let me know what do you guys think of the audio? How's the audio sound? Hopefully it sounds better than usually the live streams do. Or how about the webcam? I'm using my Canon EOS R5, which is the 4K camera that I use while I'm out filming the YouTube videos. Hopefully it's working out good for the live stream. Normally I'm live streaming from the laptop using a FaceTime camera and the built-in microphone, which is less than ideal. Man, that's awesome. Look at all that still just rolling in from all over the world. I can't even be able to keep up, or I can't even begin to keep up with where everybody's from. Singapore, Houston. Very cool. Puerto Rico. All over the place. Very, very cool, guys. Thanks for tuning in where everybody's at. Tallahassee, Florida. Let's see. What else did I have on there for stuff to talk about? I don't know. One other thing too is let's address the ads on the videos. I know that's always a controversial thing on there of too many ads on the videos, and oh, Chad's a sellout for putting ads on his videos, etc. And that's a fine line to walk. For me, where I've got to make a living. This is my full-time thing. This is my full-time job, this channel. I work on this full-time. I produce these videos as a full-time. So this is how I make my living. So, and I think that's important too to talk about, is the fact that, let's not forget that this content that is on YouTube is free for people to watch. And because of that, then you get to watch some ads, and that's how YouTube shares the profits. Basically, YouTube is selling advertisements to brands that wish to advertise on the YouTube platform. And so because it's content creators like myself and everybody else that's creating content on YouTube, we're creating the content that brings people to the platform for entertainment. And so those ads show up on the videos. And since we're the content creators that bring people there, then YouTube has a profit sharing program that they share a portion of that profit from selling those ads with us every time an ad is played. And essentially what it allows us to do as content creators, as professional filmmakers, as professionals that go out and work hard to create the content that everybody gets to enjoy for free at home. That's how we get paid. And it allows us to do this stuff full time, which, I'm extremely thankful for. But, of course there's a lot of comments that come across about, oh, there's too many ads, and I don't want to overdo the ads, but also I've got to be able to pay the bills and be able to go out and afford to do that. It's a lot of work to do the videos. It's a lot of money when I'm out traveling, and fuel and all the other expenses that come with it. A lot of times on some of these videos, it can be up to 2 to 3 days worth of filming to even just go out and capture the content. And in my quest to always be, upping the quality for you guys, I want to make sure that my equipment is up to standard. Just recently, I switched my entire workflow over to 4K so that you guys can enjoy all of the beautiful footage up in the mountains and in the desert in beautiful 4K. And, there's a lot of equipment that goes along with doing that. And, but even just the time of going out and filming it can be upwards of 2 to 3 days for one single video. And that doesn't even include the editing, because then I, got to spend the time in the edit studio, whether I'm out on the road or I'm back here at the edit studio in the Pacific Northwest. And, there's been times where I've spent anywhere from 40 to 50 hours editing one particular video. So there's a lot of time that goes into that, and that's a lot of what all the subscribers get to enjoy for free. And, they have to watch, or, they're presented with ads to watch. Many of them are skippable. Often I think they're at a max of 5 seconds, 10 seconds, sometimes 15 seconds if they're not skippable. So, I think it's a small price to pay to help support the YouTube content creators. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for all of the content creators that are out there on YouTube working very hard, trying to, bring entertainment that everybody gets to enjoy for free. And if I'm honest, and this is aside from my content, but all the people that I subscribe to and that I like to watch, I much, much, much prefer to watch content on YouTube than I do on any sort of cable television. The content is more genuine. It's more entertaining. We're talking about reality shows. Like, you don't get any more real than watching, Casey Neistat's daily vlog. That to me is a true, that's a true reality show right there. And, that's kind of a lot of what I pride my content on. And Foresty Forest, like, guys, that's true reality show. So to watch some ads while you're sitting at home enjoying it for free, that's a small price to pay to help support all of the content creators that are working hard to bring entertainment to everybody's living rooms. I think one thing that I always laugh about this, and I really want to stress this point right here. I mean, let's have a sip of whiskey and let's talk about this next point. For years, I grew up, and it might be a little bit different now, but for years and decades, We all, every single one of us out there at one point or another, had cable television, which we all subscribed to for a monthly price. And as far as I know, cable television prices have gone through the roof. And if y'all stop and think about it, for people that are paying a monthly fee for cable television, you're actually paying to watch commercials. And now those are commercials that you don't get to skip through. They're not 10-second commercials. They're not 5-second commercials. These are like minutes of commercials at a time that when you have a cable television subscription, you're paying to watch those commercials. And that's just one thing I want to, stress is that, yeah, we get to watch a few commercials on YouTube ads, but let's remember we're watching all of this hard-earned work for free. And I just want to reiterate, I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm speaking for every single content creator on YouTube. And some other options, which I see you guys are talking about here. And maybe very many people don't realize, but YouTube does offer a YouTube Premium, which you can subscribe to. I'm not exactly sure the price on it. I think it's as little as $10 a month. And YouTube Premium gives you the options of being able to do away with the ads. Or maybe it's YouTube Red. But you get to watch all this content with no ads. And that doesn't mean I don't get paid, because a portion of my income, for those of you who do subscribe to YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, a portion of that, does come back to me. So I still get paid for it, even if you guys do the YouTube Premium or YouTube Red. So anyways, I just wanted to make that point. And it's, like I said, not just for me, but for everybody else out there. And I think we're all in this society of, quick. I don't want to watch ads. Well, you have options out there, but let's just remember, where all this comes from. Anyways, off of my soapbox for that one. And, I see all the love coming through. All of you guys, I see that lots of people only watch YouTube, and I'm the same way. I haven't paid for a cable TV subscription since 2008, probably, and I enjoy YouTube far superior over cable television. Anyways, moving on here. What is next for the Sprinter van? So right now, the next big modification coming to the Sprinter van is going to be a roof rack. I've got a roof rack that is getting manufactured by Rugged Design Industries. Rugged Design Concepts out of Orange, California. They are a fabrication company that specializes in building custom roof racks for Sprinter vans. And they are currently in fabrication of the Live in the Van Life roof rack that's going to go on the Sprinter van. And it is going to house 5 of the Baja Design LP9 LEDs across the top of the windshield. It's going to have storage boxes up on top of the rack that is going to house stuff like my recovery gear, perhaps my fire pit, anything that can fit up there. That's coming. I'm going to have a side ladder on that roof rack as well, so I can access it. I'm going to be installing a rear spare tire carrier so that I can carry a full-size spare 35-inch BFG on the back of the van. And also going to have side steps from Rugged Design Concepts, as well as a back bumper. So that is what is coming next for the Sprinter van. That probably sometime in mid to late June, I'll be making a trip down to Southern California, where I'll have that installed down there. So that is what's happening for the Sprinter van. I don't really have an excuse of why it's not currently up right now. It's definitely in the works. I don't have anything yet, but hopefully in the near future we can get something like that rolling. I know it would be very successful. I know all of you guys would enjoy supporting Living the Van Life channel by purchasing merchandise. We've got lots of ideas that are in the works. So thank you guys. Please check back more. We will be doing that soon. Let's see. We got a $10, I think that's 10 Canadian dollar super chat. Hey Chad, will you do more Adventures Unknown videos? Yeah, I would love to do some more Adventures Unknown. That was a fun channel. My good friend and business partner, Eldad, you guys have seen him make appearances from time to time here on the Living the Van Life channel. Him and I, years ago when we were traveling to Europe and doing a bunch of stuff, we did a bunch of videos and started a channel called Adventures Unknown. And if you guys haven't seen that, you should definitely go and check it out. It's here on YouTube, Adventures Unknown. Give it a subscribe. Heck, you never know when we jump back on there and throw some more videos up. But it was just us and our crazy adventures as we were running around the world filming stuff and doing fun stuff. So if you guys are interested in more video content with me and Eldad, go check out Adventures Unknown. Give it a subscribe. In fact, let's see where it's at right now. I haven't seen where it's at for subscribers. Oh no, let's see. Let's do Adventures Unknown. Adventures Unknown. 7,560 subscribers on Adventures Unknown. That's crazy. It's been a while since I've gone over there and checked it out. Let's see. Some of you guys are, and actually some here in the comments, but also in the comments of videos in the past. Some of you have been asking about solar panels, if I'm going to be installing solar panels on the roof rack. And that is a very good question. One of the big things that I did for the Sprinter van when I installed my Battleborn battery system was the fact that I installed a second alternator to help charge my very large lithium battery bank. And I installed a 280 amp alternator that runs on the engine of the Sprinter van. So anytime I'm driving, that second alternator is keeping the Battleborns charged up. And basically that allows the main alternator to just remain focused on charging the starter battery. And what I have found is that 280 amp auxiliary alternator has been an absolute godsend for keeping my battery bank charged. And what it comes down to is the fact that it really eliminates the need for solar panels. And from my experience with the Vanagon and just having a small, let's see guys, sorry. I've got to change the battery here on my DSLR. Stick with me here. I just got to change the camera battery. That's why we lost. That's why we lost some webcam. And we're back. We're back. We got audio. Or I'm sorry. Make sure we've got our webcam pop back up here. Yep, there we are. Okay. So yes, I really have found with my experience on the Vanagon and having just a 100 watt solar panel, I just didn't find that solar power was as efficient as I wanted to. A solar panel I didn't find it being as efficient as what I would have wanted it to, especially for charging an extremely large battery bank like what I've got. And because I've got a 280 amp auxiliary alternator, it just really reduces the need for solar panels. I mean, basically I can start that van up and even just at an idle, I could run it for half an hour and be, 3/4 of the way charged back up just by idling. And the only time that I would need a solar panel or where that would come into play or solar panels, I should say, is if I was parked for several days in a row. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I'm not the type of camper that just goes and parks somewhere and sits in one spot for days and days on end. Maybe if I was editing in one spot, but otherwise I'm out driving around and exploring, and that alternator really takes care of all of that charging. So I've got a couple different options. I'm either going to install a few smaller panels just to help supplement the system up on that new roof rack, or I'm just going to use a second auxiliary deployable solar panels. So that's kind of what I was thinking on that. So yeah, guys, let me real quick, stick with me. I'm not going to stop the live stream, but I need to pause this here for just a quick second. Stick with me, and I'll be back here in about 20 seconds. So stick with me. Sorry, I had to take care of a quick phone call there. Okay. So, where were we? Yeah, so solar panels, maybe. I'm not sold on them 100%, to be honest with you. But definitely second alternator, charging up 280 amps into my Battleborn lithium battery bank. That right there is the ticket. That has been absolutely money. So, let's see. Okay, cookbook. I know a lot of people are always making the comments that I should do a cookbook. And yes, absolutely. I think a cookbook would be a good idea. It's a huge undertaking for me at this point. It's about everything that I can do to try and keep you guys fed with content on a regular basis. And I find myself struggling to try to wrap my mind around what it would take to actually produce a cookbook at the same time as really going crazy with all of the content production and stuff. So yes, I would love to do a cookbook at some point. I'm just not quite sure how to wrangle in all of that extra time that it would take to do that. I know you guys have expressed huge interest in it, and I think that it would be very successful. Everybody seems to really enjoy the cooking. So yeah, and to be honest with you, I always try to film my cooking in a way that you guys could perhaps follow along. I always kind of show what I am using for ingredients, the amount of proportions, the order that I add things in, and I try to do that in a way that perhaps you guys could follow along if you were interested in that cookbook. But I really think that I really think that I was just looking at some of these comments coming through. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I think it could be very successful. I would love to be able to share that. There are so many ideas that you guys have. There are so many ideas that I have that I feel like you guys would really enjoy. That, gosh, I just spend so much time spinning my wheels trying to comprehend how I could bring all of my ideas to fruition to you guys. But let's see. It looks like there's some questions about the edit time for my videos. I did touch base a little bit on that. That's a very good question, and I think it's definitely worth talking about. as I mentioned before, so for anybody that's joining in recently, you know, a lot of times it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 days worth of filming to capture the footage that I need to be able to put together a full video. And that usually ends up around 30 to 45 minutes in length to edit those videos, because that's just the filming. And then it's a matter of coming back to the edit studio or back to the van or to a coffee shop, depending on where I'm at, what I'm feeling. And then I sit down to editing. And there was a point in time here on the channel where at times I'd spend anywhere from 40 to 50 hours worth of time just to edit one video. And that was a lot of work. I mean, we're talking 7 days a week to try and pump out a video for you guys every week. And it's just not practical to keep up with that for a long period of time. And that's where I find a lot of inspiration with Casey Neistat, who did a daily vlog for 700 days straight, every single day, 7 days a week, a different story every day. And my hat is off to that guy, and he's been a huge inspiration. So, anyways, what I really worked hard for last summer when I really did a lot of my summer camping videos was dialing in my shooting style, dialing in my adventures to where I could start out the morning and head for a particular destination. And I got to the point where I knew exactly what kind of footage I need to capture to tell the story. I kind of had a little bit of a formula of how to capture that. And it really comes down to editing the video in the camera as I shot. And I don't mean like actually going into the camera and editing, but setting up my shots in order that really, when it came down to editing, all my shots were already almost in order. And it was just a matter of trimming, moving, and just really fine tuning the footage. And I got to the point where I could start out, one morning, head for a destination on an adventure, cook a meal in the evening, do my time lapses at night, film around the campfire, and perhaps film a little bit of waking up in the morning and leaving that destination. So about 24 hours of filming, of course, and setting up camp and all that stuff. But then as I really fine-tuned my shooting and how I shot my shots and what I chose to shoot, when I refined that, when it came back to the edit studio, then I found that I could get my editing time down to sometimes between 8 and 10 hours for one video. So it almost got to where I could go out and film for a day, and then I could edit for a day and then have a video. So once I was able to really fine-tune that, then that really helped. But a lot of things really have to fall into place for all of that to just, a lot of stars have to align perfectly. The destination has to have no obstacles. It has to be a clear path to get there. It has to be a cool spot. A lot of these destinations I've never been to, or I'm exploring them as I go. But if all those stars align, then I've gotten down to where I can edit my videos in 9 to 10 hours per video. And that was huge. So, yeah, hopefully that answers that question. There's a little bit of the time that goes into it. I'm going to jump into a couple of these super chats that are coming through. Mike V with a $5 super chat. Gotta go. Love your content. Cooking and van lifing, camping and philosophy. Keep on, but don't burn yourself out. Mike, thank you. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you for the kind words and the encouragement. I really do appreciate that. Definitely always looking for ways to keep myself from avoiding the burnout, but I really appreciate you guys looking out for me on that. Much appreciated. And then moving down, there was another one, Reload with a $10, a $10 super chat. Thanks for all you do. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Reload. I very much appreciate that. Very much appreciated. Let's see. I know there's some questions about my documentary film, or I should say our documentary film that a group of us have been working on producing. We started that documentary project back in 2016, and we set out to follow a group of racers, a race team, as they set out to set the world land speed motorcycle record. And basically, this race team was setting out to become the world's fastest motorcycle. We're talking about speeds of up to 400 miles an hour is basically what they're trying to achieve. The current record right now is at 376 miles an hour. And so we follow a couple of the race teams around with our cameras, and we shot all on Red cinema cameras at anywhere from 5K resolution up to 8K resolution. And a group of us producers here locally have been working on putting that together. It's a huge story. It's a ton of footage, and we're working on putting it together. I don't have a timeline of when exactly it will be complete, but we just sat together last night and watched some of the footage that has been edited together on our regular meetings, and I have just got to say that as soon as this film is done, every time I see more parts of it put together, I'm just blown away by the story that we've been able to capture, and I am seriously excited about being able to share this film with you guys and the story that we were able to witness and capture and be able to share with you guys on the big screen. So that is coming down the pike. I know there's been a lot of people excited for it, and it's been a little bit of a struggle getting it all put together because it's such an undertaking, but it's coming. So yes, the title of the documentary that we are working on putting together, and keep in mind this is essentially a working title right now, but we've got a working title of Rockets and Titans, and that kind of goes along with the whole theory of what these guys are. They're essentially assembling rockets on two wheels, and they're putting a human being inside of it and trying to become titans of the motorcycle world, of being the fastest motorcycle ever. So super cool experience doing that. That is one of the results of making the decision to have lived in a van, and being able, making the decision to live in a van in hopes of allowing more freedom for myself to live within my means so that I can go out and do crazy adventures. And do I want to start a documentary? Yeah. Why? Because I live in a van. So why not? And, do I want to start a YouTube channel? Yeah. Why not? Because I live in a van. I made the decision to do this, and living in a van has allowed me to take on a crazy documentary like that. We've already done one documentary that is available out there right now. Our first land speed racing documentary is available on Amazon Prime. It's also available on Apple iTunes. You guys can go on and check it out. The name of that documentary is Out of Nothing. And that started about 6 months after I started living in my van. And matter of fact, it was literally, that's how it started. When the idea came across my plate of, hey, you should check out the idea of shooting this documentary. It's like, well, heck, why not? I live in a van, so why wouldn't I? And so that's how the story of Out of Nothing happened, and it follows the story of 4 gentlemen from the Pacific Northwest who all are normal, everyday guys, but they have this talent for building very fast motorcycles in their garage, and they're just like all of us who go to work every day. But at the end of the day, they come home to build these motorcycles, and they spend 360 days a year building these motorcycles. And then for 5 days a year, they go to the Bonneville Salt Flats and they attempt to set records. So our first film, Out of Nothing, follows that story. And that's a grassroots film. We started that, we started that just from the pure fact of, hey, we want to tell stories. We want to do this. We want to be behind cameras. We want to tell stories, and we want to tell human stories. Stories that other humans can get into. It's not just stories about motorcycles, but it's stories about humans and stuff that we can all relate to on a day-to-day basis, and what it means to have a passion and chase that passion down to the ground and get everything that you can out of it. And that's exactly the spirit of living the van life, and that's the spirit of the documentary films that we have done and are working on. So you guys should definitely go check out Out of Nothing on Amazon Prime if you've got a Prime account, or you can also rent it on, you can rent or purchase it on Apple iTunes. And if you are in other parts of the world, check your streaming services. It's been distributed all over the world, and it's available. So you guys check it out. I'd be very honored for you guys to see that. And because that film was, again, a result of having chose to live in a van and while this started. So anyways, sorry. That was cool to be able to talk about that. I hope you guys found some value in that. And if you find the ability to go check out the movie, I'd be stoked for you to do that. Let's see. Got some more super chats coming in. Amazing Life with a $5 donation through a super chat. Love your videos. You have been a huge inspiration for our channel. Thanks for all you do. Keep on trucking. That right there is very, very cool. And I love that. It sounds like they have a channel themselves, and I think that's very, very cool. I love to see that, that this channel can help inspire other channels, and I get a lot of feedback that people have started their own YouTube channel after watching my channel, and that right there is a huge honor, and I really do appreciate that. So cool to hear. I'll definitely have to go over and check out your guys's YouTube channel. I'm just going to note that over here in my notes so I can remember what that is and go back and check it out. Let's see here. Moving on, we've got some others on here. Marie M with a $50 super chat. That is very, very cool, and really, really appreciate your generosity. All of you guys, this is freaking phenomenal, and I can't tell you how much it means to see all of this generosity come through. And thank you for the kind words. Very much appreciate it, and I'm always happy to have you guys on board on the channel. Let's see. Alina Wee with another $49.99 super chat. Very, very cool. Let's see. They say, I gotta go. Value your craft. You've given me hours of entertainment and storytelling. These tangible stories don't just magically appear. Here's a small token of appreciation. Hopefully it gets you maybe half or quarter tank of gas on the Sprinter van. And Alina, thank you. Thank you so much. I very, very much appreciate your generosity, and thank you for being part of the channel. And most of all, thank you for being part of the live stream here tonight. It's been good to have you on board. Let's see here. And here also with another very generous donation, a super chat from Courtney. Thank you, Courtney, for being part of the channel. Very, very much appreciated. It's cool to have you on board here. And it's seriously, all of these types of the super chats and everybody being generous, that's what very, very much helps keep the channel moving forward and keeps these adventures rolling. So very, very cool. Much appreciated. Gosh, guys, like so much freaking love coming through. That's phenomenal. I don't even know what to say. I'm without words. That's so cool. Another question coming up here is, will you take the Sprinter on the White Rim Trail? Now, I mean, going out and adventuring in backcountry, it's been all the way since I was a little kid, and my parents taking us kids out, exploring backcountry and checking things out. It's So going out and being on adventures and taking dirt roads has been something that's just been a huge part of my life for a long time. And getting into the Volkswagen and realizing what it's capable of and having the freedom to go out and explore these dirt roads, and not just go out and explore them, but being able to capture them on film and be able to bring them home to you guys on YouTube has been such an amazing experience. And over all the years, I think probably one of the biggest, most special adventures for me was getting out on the White Rim Trail out in Moab, Utah. And if you guys haven't seen that video on the channel, you should definitely go check it out. And here on the Living the Van Life channel, it's titled The Most Insane Road in Van Life. And you guys just got to go check it out. It's by far my most favorite video. It's by far my most favorite scenery and the experience of what it was like getting out there. And let me give you a little backstory of what the White Rim Trail is. The White Rim Trail is in Moab. It's near Moab. It's actually in the Canyonlands National Park. And it's a trail that requires a permit, and they only issue a certain amount of permits per day. And they sell out up to a year prior. And so it's kind of like winning the lottery to be able to get your hands on a permit. You have to plan months and months ahead. I got lucky and I got a permit to be able to go do it while I was there back in October. And now one of the other requirements for the White Rim Trail is the fact that it is 4-wheel drive required. And a lot of trails are 4-wheel drive recommended, which means like, hey, you should have 4-wheel drive. This one is required, and it is part of the permit. You have to basically sign that you do have a 4-wheel drive. Now, if I hadn't been in so many crazy spots in my 2-wheel drive, and if I wasn't confident in what my 2-wheel drive was capable of, let me rephrase that. If I wasn't confident in what my 2-wheel drive Vanagon was capable of, then I probably would have thought otherwise. But I did a ton of research to determine just how difficult the White Rim Trail was. And I used YouTube as a lot of my research, watching other people's videos and what they experienced on the trail to help make my decision. And after watching a ton of footage and information about the White Rim Trail, I felt confident that whatever I saw, I could accomplish in my 2-wheel drive. So I kind of broke the rules a little bit. I went outside the box and I took the chance to see if I could do it in my 2-wheel drive Vanagon. And I just got to say that is probably one of the best rules that I've ever broken, because the experience out there was absolutely phenomenal. Essentially, the White Rim Trail is an 80-mile trek, overland trek. It's a loop out through the interior of the Canyonlands National Park. You're way, way far out from anything that has to do with just your typical national park. You're really getting yourself out in the middle of nowhere for the ultimate experience. And that's what I experienced when I was out there. It was truly life-changing. And the fact that I got to document that on video and share it with you guys, it's truly one of my my most special videos. And I highly encourage you guys to go do it. And I did it in the Vanagon. It scared the shit out of me, not because, it's crazy. With 4-wheel drive, it's no big deal. I mean, I shouldn't say it's no big deal. You definitely got to know what you're doing, but with 4-wheel drive, it takes a lot of the question out of it. It takes a lot of the risk out of it. I was doing it in a 2-wheel drive, and I was doing it solo, and I was doing it at a time of year when there was literally nobody else out there for a ton of miles, not a single other soul. So the fact that I was doing it solo, the fact that I was doing it in 2-wheel drive in a 2-wheel drive hippie van, it was pushing my limits. And, but that's part of what made it so special. And I've got a lot of I've got a lot of questions from people asking me if I would ever take the Sprinter van out there. And absolutely, yes, the Sprinter van would definitely be capable of going out there, especially because it was because it is 4-wheel drive. Now, if we compared apples to apples, and would a 2-wheel drive Sprinter make it versus a 2-wheel drive Vanagon? Absolutely not. There is no way in hell I would ever take a 2-wheel drive Sprinter van out there to do the entire White Rim Trail. Not even a chance. Wouldn't even make it. Wouldn't even consider it. 4-wheel drive, yes, it would do it. Now, that being said, the challenge with the White Rim Trail is that there are several obstacles with low overhead obstacles. And that is where the challenge would come with on the Sprinter van, is the height. In fact, they state that in the information about the trail that they do not recommend the high top Sprinter vans because of those overhead clearance issues. Now, looking back on it, in those particular spots where it had the height limits, would I put the Sprinter van there? I tell you what, worst case scenario, I'd be backing out and going back the way I came. I would certainly put myself out there to try it, just to say, hey, I did it in a 2-wheel drive van again, and I did it in my Sprinter van. I really feel like I said, worst case scenario, I'd just be backing out of that particular spot and go back where I came. So that has been one of the things on my list to consider doing with the Sprinter van, is just kind of proving to myself that I could do it again in another vehicle. So anyways, that's that. And I definitely got off on a tangent on that because I just love talking about that experience. I love talking about that video. And so hopefully if you guys haven't seen it, you go watch it. So let's see. What else do we have here? Got some other peeps popping in here. Ooh, looks like some familiar faces. We got Miss Jenny McBee. Miss Jenny McBee is up in the house here on some live stream. What's up, Gigi? Jenny, as we call her, Gigi, is a longtime family friend. She's been a family friend from before the time I was even born, and all the way back in New Mexico. And she's been a big fan and supporter of the channel and all that stuff. And she says, love what you do, love your photography, videography, and all you do. So Jenny, Gigi, thanks much for jumping on here, and thanks for the kind words. Much appreciated. Big shout out to you guys over there watching. Man, we're still hanging in there on the numbers. We're still at 468 viewers. So definitely special shout out to all of you guys that are sticking with. And gosh, we've been going at it for a couple hours now. Let's see what else we got. What do I got on my list here? I've got a list kind of set up here. Now, I also jumped onto Instagram, as many of you guys know that follow here on Instagram also follow along on, many of you that are here on the YouTube channel also follow along on Instagram, and I did post the opportunity to ask some questions that I said I would pick a few and address here, so I'll get that here in a second. I was just looking here at the feed, and I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Levi Allen. Many of you guys have seen Levi's van life content here on YouTube, and Levi is a fellow Canadian neighbor just across the border up here in Abbotsford. I believe he's still in Abbotsford. I know he was at one point. Peace and love, dude. Hope you are doing well. And Levi is another very talented filmmaker and photographer, and also has a YouTube channel and does van life stuff. And actually, truth be told, the first time I saw Levi's name or came across him, I was actually watching some of Casey Neistat's content. And at the very end of one of Casey's videos, he mentioned Levi, who was helping him with one of the videos. And I was like, oh, that's curious. I wonder who this Levi character is, because usually Casey's running solo. So it turns out Levi was linked, I believe, in that particular Casey Neistat video. And so I looked up this Levi Allen character, and sure enough, turns out he's a filmmaker from just like a few miles up the road across Canada. And he was into vans. And so Levi, we've kept in touch over social media and stuff. And probably if it weren't for the COVID stuff, we probably would have been meeting up a lot sooner. But we are definitely looking forward to catching up. I know I am, for sure. We tried a few times before COVID and it just didn't line up. We were in different parts of the world at that time. But Levi with a $20 Canadian super chat. Thanks, Levi. Always stoked seeing your content, buddy. And it's cool chatting with you. Funny little story of some common filmmakers there that are close by. So anyways, let's see what else we got. You know, one of the other things that are always, let's see. I was jumping into something. Oh, my bad. I was going to start talking about some of these questions that came from Instagram. And let's go ahead and do that now. I picked just a handful, and to be honest with you, probably since the live stream started, there's probably a dozen other questions. So many good questions that come across from you guys. It's almost impossible to be able to answer all of them, but I've picked a few good ones to talk about. And again, I want to give a shout out to @Vanagon Overland. And we talked about Mr. Joey Rideout here earlier on the channel, or I'm sorry, on the live stream. And he goes by @Vanagon_Overland on Instagram. In fact, you guys really got to go follow Joey and @Vanagon Overland, because in fact, I'm going to put this on here. I'm just going to type this out here, because what Joey is curating over on Instagram is a very cool feed of some very awesome Vanagon photos and content that he finds on Instagram and he shares on his page. So for you Vanagon VW lovers out there, definitely go check out Joey's Instagram page. Give him a follow, because he's got some cool VW content. I'm just going to type this out so you guys can see it in the Vanagon. Did I get that? Nope, I spelled that wrong. God, I should know that. I should know better than that, how to spell Vanagon. Sorry, Joey. Vanagon Overland. There we go. Vanagon Overland. Correction. Anyways, Vanagon Overland asks, has there been anything you have done to the Sprinter van that you wouldn't do again? And again, that's coming from Instagram. A question from Instagram. Let's see. That's a very good question. So far, I can't think of anything that I have done, but that I wouldn't do again. Probably if I have the opportunity to hire it out again, then I think I would probably help take some of that workload off. I've been very happy with the experience of doing all the work myself, but as Joey knows, who is actually answering this or asking this question, and as well as Eldad, who I know is on the live stream right now as well, the three of us spent 3 months in the shop building our Vanagons from the ground up back in 2017, and we all know how much work it is. And building a Sprinter van from the ground up, starting from a blank canvas, is a lot of work. So I appreciate the experience, but holy shit, just so that I could stay focused on my goals with the the channel and stuff, I'd probably want to try and hire out some of this stuff for building the Sprinter van. So far, I haven't come across anything that's like, oh man, I don't know why I did this. But there again, the van isn't completely laid out. In fact, some of the most important design work lies ahead in building the cabinet and the countertop and kind of that type of stuff. That's where it's going to be important. So hopefully I don't get to that point and then find something that I wouldn't do again. But I would definitely look for some more help of making sure that some more help in getting this burner band built out. So thanks to @Vanagon Overland for that question. Another question from Instagram @DaraLynn says, what's the most challenging part of being a one-man crew? One of the most challenging parts of being a one-man crew out in the field trying to create short films about van adventures is the fact that it's all up to you to capture all of the different camera angles. And being a filmmaker, that my nature is to try and capture these adventures in the most cinematic way and telling the story. And so that involves multiple different camera angles. It involves more than just sticking your GoPro out the window or through the windshield or just placing it on your dash. That's the filmmaker nature inside of me, is like, I want to capture as many different angles, interesting angles that tell the story of what I'm doing out there. And I feel like that's part of what makes my van life videos unique, is all that extra work and getting those angles and telling the story that way. And that's the most challenging part, is getting the different angles. Like just setting up camp, starting a fire and cooking a meal. When it comes to filming all those different angles, what is normally a very simple task takes 10 times longer of stopping, going and moving the camera, resetting to do what you're doing, and getting all the different angles. So that is the most challenging part of being a one-man crew. Let's see. Before I jump into some further questions, I just want to jump in here. There was some other super chats that have popped up here. Thomas Crawford with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Any story of you being spooked out in the middle of nowhere? And actually, I'm going to include that question along with the question from Mohammed R8X from Instagram, because he had asked the question, has any animal approached your van or you or attacked me? And I'm going to go with that being a common question with Mr. Thomas Crawford here, of any story of you being spooked out in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to go with a huge knock on wood, the fact that I haven't come across any animal that has spooked me or come close to me. You'd be surprised. It's not wildlife, especially, after COVID and so many people out exploring the backcountry. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on the wildlife, and you just don't see a ton of it out there. Not like what you would think you would out there. So I haven't had any animal approach me, but I do get that asked a lot. So that's why I chose that question. No crazy experiences. I was talking about earlier here on the live chat or the live stream about an experience where I had some uneasiness. I had some suspicions about where I was camped and heard some noises and was alert to that. That would have been one of the times where I was spooked in the middle of nowhere. But to be honest with you, I haven't come across any crazy situations like that. Knock on wood. Not that I want to come across that. And if it does happen, I just hope that it happens while the camera's rolling. So anyways, let's see. We got another super chat. We killed two birds with one stone. In fact, I'm just going to check a few of these off. Let's see here. We got another super chat donation from Dan S. Love your work. Was in Washington 2019, planning again in 2022 to photograph again. That's awesome. Dan, very cool. It's a great place to come up and shoot photography. That's one thing I love about being up here in this area, is there's lots of cool opportunities, that's for sure. And that's one thing I love about the photography and filmmaking and being in a van and mobile is being able to go out and explore new places. So for you to be able to come to Washington, it's a great spot for you to explore and shoot photos for sure. Let's see. Let's go back to another question from Instagram. This one is from at Cosmo Kramer 23. Thank you for the question coming from Instagram. He asks, how much sponsorship do you get asked about? That kind of goes back with some of the stuff that I was talking about before with advertising and stuff like that. I get a lot of communication about sponsorships, a lot, to the point where I can't really keep up with it. I've had some help from some fellow filmmakers that have jumped on board to help me manage a lot of that stuff. But I get a lot of that. And I mean, there's kind of, I'd say, a couple different scenarios with that. There's sponsorship where it's brands that I use on a daily basis, like BFG tires or Battleborn batteries or Van Compass. Like, that is stuff that I use every single day. And those to me are the true sponsorships. Those are the ones that are important to the channel because they're providing me with the gear and the stuff that I use on a daily basis. Then there's also what could be considered sponsorships, and these are brands that are reaching out through agencies to advertise their product or their brand on my channel by having me do the 60-second ad integrations. I get a lot of the 60-second ad integrations coming through. I turn a lot of them down. So, you know, and that's hard because that is money in the pocket. That's what pays the bills. But it's also not what I want this channel to be about. I don't want this channel to become one big advertisement. And, you know, I'm lucky to have the brands that I have worked with reach out, and I've chosen to take those on board. But I'm very selective on what I choose to talk about if it's a 60-second ad integration. So I'm looking for ways to integrate more of the brands that I use on a daily basis as working into these 60-second ad integrations. If I'm going to talk about a brand for 60 seconds in a video and get paid for it, I really want to start working towards including brands that I use on a daily basis, that are a daily thing on the channel. So anyways, that's where I'm at on the sponsorships. Like, hopefully that answers that question. Sorry, that can like be a long subject, but I'm also getting a lot of information from the other side of the chat here as well. Let's see here. Another good question. This is coming from the comments in the live chat over here. Do you miss the comforts of home while living in your van? And that's a good question. I've been living full time in my van for so long that my van feels like home. That has been my comfort of home, is the van. Of course, there's challenges of, you know, showers and the bathroom and stuff like that. A lot of people have been asking if I'm going to build a bathroom and a shower into my Sprinter van. And the question on that is absolutely, positively, no, I'm not going to be building a toilet or a shower into my van. I've been living in my Volkswagen van for off and on since 2011. And I've become very comfortable and confident with not having a toilet in my van or a shower in my van because I've become very comfortable with the alternatives surrounding that. And a shower and a bathroom take up a ton of space in a van. And I'd rather make use of that for other things rather than a toilet or a shower. But to answer your question, do I miss the comforts of home? Yeah, it's nice to be able to jump out of bed and just walk into a shower and shower and do laundry. But I've learned to work around that. I've learned to make that a part of my daily thing. So I don't mind it. Other than that, I don't miss it at all. The amount of freedom that being mobile on wheels and having the freedom of going wherever I want, whenever I want, with the turn of a key, and have everything that I need to survive with me, that far out surpasses any comfort of home that I might miss. So hopefully that works. Or hopefully that answers that question and gives you guys some insight to things. Let's see. I did have some other questions popping in. Let's see. Let's talk about the van tour. Now, I apologize that I didn't get to this sooner because I know we've dropped a little bit off on the amount of viewers that are watching. But one of the biggest questions that I get in the comments, especially in the last several videos, is everybody wants a tour of the inside of the Sprinter van. And why have I not shown the inside of the Sprinter van yet? The simple reason for that is the Sprinter van is not yet finished. It's not 100% complete. Basically, where I'm at right now is I have 100% of the walls and paneling upholstered and installed. The ceiling is complete and upholstered, and the lights are installed. So essentially the main shell of it is installed. The bed is installed. Basically what's lacking right now is the cabinetry that is going to be overhead running the length of the driver's side. That still needs to be installed. And then also I need to design and build the kitchen countertop and also the kitchen cabinets that will be installed below that countertop. That's going to that's going to include the kitchen sink that will be installed in that. I'm not going to be putting a burner permanently installed in the countertop just because I don't plan on doing a ton of cooking inside the van. I do most of my cooking outside the van, and I will do something similar to what Foresty Forest does in using his induction top burner up on top of the counter anytime that I want to pull out the burner and do some cooking. Something simple like boiling some water for tea or soup or a freeze-dried meal. So from there, I'm going to do a bench seat. Basically, I'm going to do the layout very, very similar to how the Vanagon is. And when you slide open the slider door, there is a bench seat that's going to sit just below where the bed starts. And that's going to be kind of my couch area. That's where I'll be sitting, spending most of my time editing if I'm working inside the van. And then stored underneath that bench seat is going to be my camera gear, so that I have access to the camera gear with electricity and outlets running to the inside of the drawer so that the camera gear can charge while it's inside the drawer stored away during travel. So there will be a van tour video coming. The van is just not 100% finished. I've been making it work in the meantime so I can take a break from building and go out and get back to creating some content for you guys. So van interior tour will be coming. I promise. It's coming soon. Very, very soon. Okay, let's see. We've got some more. Let's see. We got another super chat coming through from Mark with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. VW Audi fanboy here. You ever think about doing an old school VW bus build? I know the chassis are super pricey anymore. That would be very cool. I would love to have an old school bus that was like built to the hilt. Maybe eventually, sometime, maybe when I retire, if I ever do that. I don't know what I would do if I'd stop. Maybe I'd build an old school bus. But that would be cool. My parents had a 1974 bay window bus that was very cool, pretty much in original condition. And that thing was a blast. It was bright orange, and its name was Orange Blossom. And we used to go out tooling around in that thing. So that thing was super cool. Yeah, the old buses are cool and definitely harder to find. I'd like to do a split window. I think that'd be super rad. Mr. Smurfington with another super chat, $4.99. Yo, Chad, I'm from Denver, and I'm stuck in the same limbo as you are right now with my girlfriend being an Australian national. I hope you all are good. Oh, man. Is your girlfriend over in Australia right now? And I'm assuming perhaps you're from Denver. Dang. So, yeah, you're in the same boat I have. Like, I definitely would have been over to Australia a couple times to visit old Anne in a van. But because of COVID and borders shut down, I definitely haven't been able to do that. So you'll have to let me know if is she living over there, and whereabouts is she? Is she what state? Is she in Victoria, Western Australia, Northern Territories, Queensland, South Australia? Where's she at? Be interesting to hear. That's tough, man. It's yeah, it's hard to be in a long distance relationship in that type of situation. She's living in Adelaide. That's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome that she's living over there and you're stuck over here and you guys can't see each other. I know that's tough. But I was in Adelaide over there filming for Rockets and Titans, the documentary I was referring to earlier. Yeah, we landed in Adelaide, and it was in Adelaide where I met Anne in a van back on March 8th of 2018. She was actually, she's from south of Adelaide, but she was in town with some of her girlfriends for an Ed Sheeran concert. And we happened to be there shooting our documentary, and we bounced into each other at the Black Bull in downtown Adelaide. And that's where I met Anne in a van. And so we hung out in Adelaide for a few nights before I had to head up to Lake Gardner for 10 days in the outback, completely off grid. And then when we got back to town, met up with Anne in a van again. And then, of course, I've been back to Adelaide quite a few times when I was back hanging out with her and traveling back to her hometown and all that stuff. So, wow, cool. Adelaide. So have you been to Adelaide? I'm assuming you probably have been. How long have you guys been dating back and forth? Mr. Smurfington says, dude, yes. Yep. I think Eldad's hiding out in these in the super chat here, and I'm sure he's got an opinion about Adelaide as well as Joey. Been talking about Joey Rideout, and yeah, we all have Adelaide stories, that's for sure. We freaking love Adelaide. Now we've got Overland Lady up in the chat here. What's up, Overland Lady? She's just in time for the Aussie story. Overland Lady's actually spent some time over in Australia, but she also has a very, very cool YouTube channel. Actually, I just stumbled upon it here a few days ago, and have been checking out some of her content, but she is a solo female that goes out and travels in her Land Cruiser, and she's got some very cool content. She's very good at what she does. So you guys will have to go check her out on YouTube, Overland Lady. Good to see you here in the live chat. For sure. And yeah, we're just exchanging stories of Australia. From what I gather, it sounds like she spent quite a bit of time in Australia. So that's cool. She's got some cool Australian stories, I'm sure. Oh, wow. You guys have been together since March of 18 as well. That's crazy. So how did you guys meet? Did you guys meet, or why were you over there in Adelaide and that's how you met? That's wild. That's a small world right there for sure. It looks like Amazing Life follows Overland Lady as well. That's cool. Overland Lady, you make me want to get a van. Oh man, I tell you what. The trade-offs of van life, having that space, but then having the capabilities of a Toyota Land Cruiser. If only they could like run away and reproduce the perfect vehicle for overlanding. That would be it. Although I would say, well, gosh, I'd almost like to say that as far as capability, the best cross between van life and a Land Cruiser overlanding capabilities would probably be a Synchro Vanagon. However, with a Synchro Vanagon, you're giving up a lot of reliability that the Toyota Land Cruiser would have, because the Toyota Land Cruiser is like, they're super bulletproof. Mr. Smurfington, he was doing car stuff, buying Supras in Aussie and selling them over here. That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, reproduce. Can vans get together with Toyotas and like figure out the perfect overland machine? That's what needs to happen. Mr. Smurfington, thanks, man. I really appreciate those kind words. Yeah, man. I just always want to try and stay true to the roots of why I started all this, and just encourage people to get out and keep your eye, figure out a passion that you want to go for and set your eye on it, make some goals for yourself, and just never take your eye off the ball, and do something every day. Do something every day that moves you closer to it. No matter how big or small it is, that's something you do. Just do something every day that moves you towards that goal. And pretty soon you'll get yourself there. Ah, yes. Smurfington again. Best off-road van is an L400 Delica. Those things are freaking sick. And that is, so Overland Lady, she's from up in Canada, which they have the Delicas up there. I'm starting to see more and more here in the States, at least in the Pacific Northwest, but I'd agree. Those freaking off-road van, the Delicas, are super badass. Although I'm not quite sure that there's much more room in a Delica than there is in a Land Cruiser. Those Delicas are definitely small, but damn, they look freaking sick. And that's the thing about over in Oz, in Australia, the Delicas are everywhere over there. So, yeah, they're super cool. Let's see. Some more questions coming from the chats here. When were the windows in front of the flares installed? Let's see. Gosh, I can't remember when. I would have probably February, March. I installed the windows in when I installed those in front of the van. So the Sprinter van started out as a blank cargo van. So I had to cut the holes in order to fit the flare spaces in. And then I also had to cut holes to fit the side windows in. And the side windows, one goes in the slider door and the other one goes just in the panel just behind the driver's seat. And so I had to cut those holes pretty much just as similar as I did the flares. But I will say that doing the windows was a much easier job. And I was just able to do it in a couple hours one evening. To be honest with you, I didn't film a video of installing the windows. By then, I was completely burned out of A, working on the van, and B, of filming any content on the van. So the window install, unfortunately, didn't get a video, but the windows are installed, and it was very, very nice to have those things installed. That made a huge difference in the living space of the van. That was very nice to have. Gosh, we still got Chuck-a-Doodle-Doo in the house, and Chuckle-Doodle-Doo is asking if the Sprinter van is gas or diesel. Well, I'm assuming he's referring to the Sprinter van. The Sprinter van is diesel. The Vanagon is gasoline. So, yeah. Do I dabble in crypto? I do. I have gotten into crypto a little bit. My good buddy Eldad, he's gotten into doing some trading and stuff. And we've been bouncing back and forth and talking about crypto. Our group of friends here locally, when we're getting together and hanging out, it seems like crypto always comes up. Oh, what's crypto doing? Where are we at? I'm in Dogecoin right now just because it's out there and it's a roller coaster ride, and it's like it's going up and it's going down. But crypto, yeah, I've got a wee bit invested into some Dogecoin, and who knows? That could be the next thing. Dogecoin to the moon, right? Isn't that what we say? To the moon. Cheers to Dogecoin. You know, that's what I say a lot when coming across some crazy challenges or some crazy opportunities of, oh, should we do this? Oh, should we do that? My saying is, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's do it. And that's got me into a lot of crazy adventures, that's for sure. Simply saying, fuck it, why not? So when Dogecoin came around, I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Let's do some Dogecoin. But anyways, yeah. Let's see. How about a happy birthday to Noah? See out there in the comments, Noah. Happy birthday, Noah. A very, very special happy birthday to you. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, mountain bike update. I've still got the mountain bike. It's not here in this. I've got the mountain bikes stored in an office next door. But I have been dying to get back on my e-bike. When I had my e-bike on my road trip last fall, and I was out in Idaho and Montana and Oregon and then over to Moab, I absolutely loved having my Norco range with me. And I had it plugged in on the bike rack, so as I was traveling down the road, the Norco could recharge. And yeah, that was super cool. It was great having that on board. Guys, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I don't know how much longer my camera battery is going to last, just in case I lose. Let's see. Let me see if I can check the battery here. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to give me battery information here. If all of a sudden I lose visual, like my webcam, we've been going for 2.5 minutes. 2.5 hours, over 2.5 hours. I've already burned through one Canon battery. I've got the second one in, so I'm not sure how long that battery is going to last. But my webcam, my Canon EOS R, is actually powered off of the batteries right now. So if I dip out, that's why. But yeah, I want to include more mountain bike content in it. So when I get out to some epic mountain biking, I will definitely, be creating some more mountain bike content, because that was super fun. Definitely enjoyed that. If I find my way out to Colorado, I'll break out the Delica. If I break out to Colorado, I'll break out the Delica and take you some places. Whiskey, crypto, and Aussie ladies on the docket. Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. Smurfington, thanks for the invite. That'd be super cool to get out there and check out Colorado. We can always FaceTime the Aussie girls. So you actually have a Delica then? Maybe I missed that somewhere up there. But that's super cool. They look cool. I see them driving around here all the time. I see more and more of them over here. Yeah. What else? Let's see, I got another question from Instagram that somebody posted earlier. This is from @SammyRides. What type of camera do I use for my van adventures? And that's a good question. I use a variety of different cameras. I got a few options. But for my main camera, I have a Canon EOS R5, which I film in 4K resolution. For those of you that didn't realize, I never really officially announced it, but as of 3 videos ago, maybe 4 videos ago, I switched over my entire workflow to start posting living the van life videos in 4K resolution. And so that's made possible here by my Canon EOS R5. I shoot that in 4K. And then I also, for my aerial drone shots, I use a DJI Mavic 2 zoom. And that also shoots in 4K. And then I'll use GoPro shots for some different types of POV. I don't use GoPro a ton, but when I'm out doing some fun trails and some ruggedness, I'll throw the GoPro out in some various different spots and capture that. And then I also use my, if I can break this off of here, I also use my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'll use that for some various different pickup shots if I need a quick shot. If I'm filming a lot in public around different people, I'll use the phone because it's pretty darn stealth. You know, people don't necessarily think that you're filming if you've got a phone. But the video quality coming off of an iPhone in 4K is actually pretty amazing. Now, I will state that in perfect lighting, in perfect daytime sunshine, the iPhone is excellent, superb. It matches right up with the R5. If it starts getting dark or even cloudy, I don't really care for the iPhone as much, but it's great for a pickup. The thing about it, I don't know if you guys realize this, but I know a lot of people are always feeling like they want to have the biggest, best camera when it comes to producing YouTube content. And I was told this all the time as I was learning filmmaking, learning photography, trying to hone my skill set in becoming a photographer and a filmmaker and a storyteller. It was shoved down my throat that it doesn't necessarily matter what equipment you have. It's all about the story. And over the years, I've certainly learned that for myself. In fact, here on the Living the Van Life YouTube channel, the biggest video on my channel is the winter storm in a van video. If you guys remember that from December of 2019, that was a video that went absolutely huge on the channel. It's nearing 12 million views, by far the biggest video on my channel. And that was really what truly launched this channel into a full-time success. And that video was filmed entirely on my iPhone X. Every single bit of it, except for the drone shots. Every single bit of that video was filmed directly from my iPhone X. And which that to me is that's something I'm proud to say, that the biggest video on my channel was filmed with an iPhone. So that just goes to show you that if you are an aspiring Filmmaker, you want to learn filmmaking, don't focus so much on having the best equipment. Focus on the story. The story is what will bring people to your channel. They're what will become, the storytelling is what will develop your audience and keep them coming back for more. So, yeah, go out and shoot stuff with your iPhone. We live in an amazing time. The fact that with this item right here, we can go out and start a YouTube channel. We can go out and start a documentary. We can go out and develop a series and be very, very successful with this item that we have right here in our pocket on a daily basis. This thing is amazing. So find your voice, find your story, dig your phone out of your pocket and just go start shooting it. It takes time. It takes time. It took a lot of years, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of honing the skill set to get to a point where it can be successful. But if you put the time into it and you truly believe in what you're doing, it will get there eventually. You just got to put the time in. In fact, I've got this, this normally here is sitting on my desk. I keep this right here in front of me. And this right here says it all. This thing, I look at it every day as I'm working. It's been at my desk every day for years and years, and this is exactly it. And it starts down at the bottom. It starts down here. You got to take risks. And when you take risks, you're going to fail. And when you fail, you're going to have doubts. And you're going to get criticism. You're going to find the discipline. You're going to have to make more sacrifices, and then you get rejected. And then when you find that you're truly passionate about something, then you're going to start putting in the late nights. And you're going to put in the time. And it's late night after late night after late night for years. But it's that persistence and the hard work that's going to get you to the top. But all of that lies between the surface, because what people see from the top is the success. It's the success up here that people see, and they don't see all of this that goes in there to get there, you know. But this is so important. When I saw this, it clicked so hard. And it's that success that people see. It's the success that people judge, you know, that can be a challenge, you know, when it flips up to the top. You know, people see the success and they don't realize the amount of time that you put into it and all of those things that lie below the surface. They might judge you for, oh, it must be nice to just go do this, or it must be nice to just be able to do this. Well, yeah, you're right. It is nice to be able to just go do that. And, you know, but what people aren't seeing is the amount of time, the amount of sacrifice that have gone in for the years and years and years to go, you know, to get to that level. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, you feel like you're working your ass off for a long time. And you feel like, you know, what are you doing all this for? What is the point? And so many times you feel like you should just give up. But I've always heard that, you know, most people give up at that last step. Most people give up right at the end of making it to the top. And it's always that one last step. If you just keep pushing, if you believe in what you're doing hard enough, then you're going to get there. And, yeah, I mean, I get so many comments on the channel of, you know, people want to start their channel. People want to become a filmmaker. People want to, you know, become an architect, whatever it is. It applies to everything in life. And they're looking for advice. They're looking for encouragement, or they find encouragement on the channel by the things that I get to do and talk about on Living the Van Life. But it's always that advice that lies behind it of just find your passion, find your goal, but it's got to be a true passion. And that's the thing, is like, you'll know when it's a true passion, because you can't ever stop thinking about it. You can't ever put it down. You just never stop pushing on it. And when you find passion, that's where you can start putting some fuel behind it and push it to something you want to do. So anyways, I like to get on that soapbox. It gets me going. Let's see. I got some more comments coming in here. Heard you were in San Francisco, Chinatown, filming a Ducati commercial. Hope the city treated you well. Yeah, that is correct. A huge part, like I talked about way in the beginning of the live stream, was talking about my love for motocross and getting to work professionally in the motocross and supercross industry. But also anything motorcycles. So that's one thing that I've been able to, I feel fortunate that I've been able to use my skill set also to create content in the motorcycle world and the motorcycle industry. So I get to go do fun things like, go do some press launches for Ducati motorcycles. There's been a couple recent projects that I've gotten to go do. So that involves packing up the camera gear and going to some cool spots and filming motorcycles. So I was in downtown San Francisco a couple weeks ago and filming Ducati motorcycles run around there. But that's a lot of what all this history of filmmaking is built on. The fact that my business partner, Eldad, and I started a production company called Emanate Films. And if you guys go to emanatefilms.com or emanatemedia.com, you can see our website and actually our show reel of what we have done through our production company of Emanate Films. And we traveled all over the world with our red cinema camera, shooting content for Triumph motorcycles, shooting content for Harley Davidson, Ducati, etc. And it's all of that time behind the camera, out traveling the world, where I feel like I was able to hone in more of my cinematography skills. And it's all of those skills that I learned out on those experiences that I now bring out into the field with van life, and I start applying to the van life videos. And so it's all of those experiences that have come together to create what you guys get to enjoy here on the channel. So going out, shooting the motorcycles, that was, is, and still remains to be a huge inspiration of what keeps me driving forward for my passion of this. And you guys get to reap the benefits because I get to, go out and practice it on a weekly basis for the Living the Van Life YouTube videos. What is my favorite knife? Gosh, I wish I had my knives with me. My daily carry knife is right here. This is my, let's see if I can get that to focus. This is my Benchmade bug out, and I've got the Flytanium, come on, focus. I've got the Flytanium scales on there. Oh, let's get this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, come on. It's wanting to focus on my eyes. So this is my Benchmade with the titanium scales on it. It's the bug out. Just a cool little flip out knife there. So this is the daily carry. I have this thing with me every day. It rides in my pocket. So that's my favorite daily carry knife. As far as my favorite survival knife, I have an absolutely stunning knife that Matthew Paul of NP Knives custom made for me here for the Living the Van Life YouTube channel. And I'm going to post his name here on the chat so you guys can check it out. His Instagram is MP Knives, at MP Knives. And yeah, Matthew Paul, very, very talented knife maker. He made me an absolutely stunning knife. So as far as a survival sized style knife, that is my absolute favorite knife. It is just beautiful. And he put a lot of personal time, a lot of personal heart and love into that, specifically for me and the Living the Van Life YouTube channel. So that's an exceptional knife. I'm very proud of that one. As far as just a bang around knife around camp, one that I really love is the SE5. I've got links usually in most of my videos down below. But my SE5 is also a very cool knife. I love that thing. That's just a beat around, rough, rugged survival knife. It's great for splitting firewood. It's great for just various tasks around camp. And I love the SE5. But the Matthew Paul knife, freaking phenomenal. That thing is gorgeous. In fact, it's so gorgeous. Like when I first got it, I was like, there's no way I could like drive this into a thing of firewood and split firewood with it. But Matt, he assured me up and down. He's like, man, these knives are built to be used. They're not built to be trophies on a shelf. Go out and use your knife, drive it through firewood, put the first scratch on it, and enjoy it out there. And that's just what I've done. It goes everywhere with me in the van, and it's phenomenal. So special shout out to Matthew Paul Knives, MP Knives on Instagram for that awesome knife. That thing is a freaking beast, and it's sharp. It is freaking sharp. I wish I had it here. I would show it off to you guys, but it's out in the van in the parking lot. So anyways, where else are we? What are we doing here? Let's see. What else we got to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about in the what do you guys want to talk about in the comments there? This is good. It's finally like slowed down a little bit where we can just kind of have the freedom to chat, hang out. Why do I like Montreal steak seasoning so much? You know, that's a good question. I don't know. It's just something I started using back when I first started cooking steaks. It always made a good steak, and I've just always had a bottle of it in my van everywhere I go. And of course, that ended up just making its way onto the YouTube channel, and now it's popular in the comments, and everybody talks about Montreal steak seasoning. Everybody uses Montreal steak seasoning because of the channel, and it's really just become a staple here on the channel. So yeah, it's good. It just makes a good steak. It's simple. You don't have to do, you know, so many people get into all these crazy different methods of, oh man, like soak it in vinegar for this long and then turn it upside down at like 80 degrees for like 10 hours and then smudge it with some sage and all this crazy stuff. You know what? Just put some Montreal steak seasoning on it. It's good to go. It'll taste delicious. Just go for it. What happened to the Volkswagen van? For any new people that have joined in here on the chat, I still have the Vanagon. The Vanagon is still part of it. I don't drive it every day. It's parked. I still have it. I do miss having it on a regular basis out on the trails, but the Sprinter van, it's awesome. Enjoying the comforts of that. The Vanagon, it's taking a break. The Vanagon has over 300,000 miles on it. It's been through 5 different engines. It's been through 3 different transmissions. I've rebuilt it from the ground up, including all the suspension once already. It's a lot of work to maintain. It's a lot of work to drive. I put it through the ringers. You guys have seen the trails that we've been on. You've seen the adventures that we've been on. And that thing's tired. At this point, it uses about a quart of oil every other fuel tank. So about every 400 miles, you got to stick a quart of oil in it. And it was just time to upgrade. But I still got it. It's still there in all its glory. It's hanging out over at the shop where I built the Sprinter van. And it'll be out eventually. It's not done for, but I've got a lot on my plate right now. And for now, it's the Sprinter van. Before the Vanagon goes out on any more adventures, it's going to need some major maintenance, which was exactly what was going on the last adventure that I had it on. When I was the last road trip in November, the Vanagon and I did about 8,000 miles of road tripping. And by the end of that Vanagon was giving all it could just to get itself home. And at that point, we had the Sprinter van and was getting the Sprinter van home and starting that build. So that's where we're at. So another very good question coming through. Do you legit live on the road? So yeah, let's talk about that and what on the road means to me. I live in my van full time, meaning that where I go home to sleep is inside my van every single night. Every single night that I am not flown somewhere on an airplane and that I have my van with me, I have been in my van since October of 2018. Every single night. That's no joke. Every single night that I've been in town. But I do. I fly on an airplane to go do jobs like the Ducati job. And of course, there I sleep in a hotel. So yes, I live in my van full time. Am I out on the road on road trips all the time? That is not correct. I have been spending a lot of time around the Pacific Northwest in my hometown, where I went to high school. I graduated high school. I worked full time here for 18 years. All of my family is here. All my friends are here. So this is kind of home base for now. Over the years, I've gone out on fairly long-term road trips, months at a time. And during that time, I live, quote unquote, on the road. So yes, I live in my van full time, but just because you live in a van full time doesn't mean that you're wandering around the world aimlessly. You can remain in a particular town and still live in your van. And yes, that still counts as living in your van because you sleep in it every night. I do not have a permanent residence that I go and call home. Many of you, well, I shouldn't say many of you because all of you guys are still hanging out here with me, but there are a lot of comments on the channel that say, oh, Chad doesn't really live in his van. Oh, yeah, he's done with this video, so he's going back to his apartment. That is 100% not true. I have no reason to lie about anything like that. I do have this small, humble office space. This space here is a 200 square foot office space in the basement of an old building in downtown. And it's an old building. In fact, when you walk into the foyer of the basement down here, it smells like an old library. It does. But luckily here in my little tiny office edit studio, I've been able to remodel. And what I mean by remodel is paint the walls, paint the trim, and put down some nice flooring. Here inside, I've got a couch that you guys can see here. It's a couch to chill on. There's another desk over here that Eldad comes in and works at from time to time, anytime we're doing some van life business or Emanate business. And then there is a big screen TV here. And so this, when I film a video locally, I'll come back here and I'll hunker down and focus on editing. I've spent a lot of hours sitting right here at this spot, editing all the content that you guys watch. And it's nice to have this office space when I am here in town, so that I'm not sitting in my van nonstop working, because I'll go on a sometimes 8 to 10 hour editing binge where I'm just editing solid. So if I had to do that in the van and live on it here locally, then it would I would go crazy. So anytime I'm here around town, I do work here. I've had the comments over the past saying, oh, see, he's got an edit studio. Of course he doesn't live in his van. And I kind of compare that to, okay, let's say for somebody that lives in a house and they have a job at an office building, just because they have an office building, does that mean they don't live in their house? Just because they go to work in an office building? No. They still live in a house. They go to work in an office. I live in a van. When I'm here in town, I go to work in an office. So I just laugh about those. I laugh about those comments. So, but that's the thing. You can't win them all. For anybody out there creating content on YouTube, we know how those comments get. So yeah. But, yeah, I would show you guys right now well, here, let's see. There we go. So, whoops, I was going to stay. So yeah, couch there, coffee table, chilling. Other office over here. It's hard to like figure it out. So another desk there, and up above there is the TV. So the camera's hooked up to the computer, so I can't exactly like give the full walk around. But there's a wall over here, entrance. So you can see we painted up the walls here to work and put down a decent floor. But yeah, this is where all the editing magic happens. Give you guys a little inside tour. I'd actually pick up the camera and walk around if it wasn't hooked up to the computer. But let's see here. And when I'm out on the road, like I said, it's a lot of time editing. So when I'm out on the road, I don't particularly like to just sit in my van and edit. If have the opportunity, I'm somewhere around a town, I will go and edit at a coffee shop. I actually really love editing at a coffee shop. I'm actually able to focus there better. I feel that I can go into a coffee shop, I can put headphones on, and I can dial into my computer and edit for a lot of hours, but then I also feel like I'm out socializing. There's people around. I can always get a coffee or a snack. It's just a work-friendly space. So when I'm on the road, I love to stop and edit at coffee shops. I very rarely will hunker down in the van and edit for long periods of time because, okay, if you're talking about a very tiny spot. So if I spend 8 to 12 hours working in the van and I'm done with that, then I'm sleeping in that same spot. It's like, I like to have that separation, but I'll do it. The van's all set up for it. And the Sprinter van, as I continue to finish building it out, it will be very comfortable for working in. And with the Battleborn batteries and my power setup, I've built that thing, that the Battleborn battery setup. I've built it to power my computer for a long period of time if I do need to stop and work. So Overland Lady, she mentions here in the comments, places like WeWork makes alternative living way more easy now. Shared workspace for office needs, doesn't have to have home office. And that's absolutely true. And I found those spots in small towns, various here and there, that as I'm traveling about, there's shared work spots, which is very cool for being able to swing in and work for a day or two and not be having to do that in your vehicle. So that's part of the challenge of being nomadic living and making a living on the road. You just get creative. You figure things out. A lot of people think, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's all about adapting and overcoming. You adapt to the situation you're put in and you overcome it. You overcome the challenges. And yeah, I think that's the most important. That's the best skill set that you could have for this kind of mobile living, is being able to adapt and overcome. If you can figure that out, then you can accomplish anything. But make it your number one priority. Your number one skill set is, how can I adapt to anything and overcome it? Boom, done. I think that applies to everything in life. Put yourself up to the challenge. Figure it out. Okay, let's see. One interesting question. What whiskey goes best with Montreal steak seasoning? Well, that's a tough one. There's only a few whiskeys that go along with Montreal steak seasoning. I would say that any whiskey that starts with a W, like whiskey, just straight up any whiskey, I think goes good with Montreal steak seasoning. As long as it's whiskey, do it. No, yeah, I don't know. I've never tried to actually like pair whiskey with Montreal steak seasoning, but I enjoy some Canadian Club. I enjoy Pendleton out there in camp. Four Roses is even another good one. I've actually gotten to where I really enjoy the Bullet bourbon or Boulier. However, I've heard it pronounced different ways, but Bullet bourbon. Hold on a second here. Let's see. We got, I almost missed this. There was a super chat popped up here earlier. I apologize. I feel like this has been up here for a while, but I believe this is an Argentinian currency, but a $500 Argentinian currency super chat from Mega Brocho. Hi from Argentina. I love your videos. You use great music on them. And a double thumbs up. Hello from Argentina, and thank you very much for your very generous, super chat here to Live in the Van Life. Very, very much appreciated. And thanks for the kind words. The music is kind of one of my favorite things about putting the videos together, because as I'm out experiencing these different locations, I always strive to capture the cinematography in a way that does the landscape justice and what it felt like being out there in it. And the music is a very, very, very big part of that. So I always try to choose music that really fits the mood that I was in out there, because it's really, truly about bringing you guys along for the adventure as if you were there along with me. So it's always fun to put the music together with the footage and what truly expresses the emotions that were going through my mind while I was out there doing it. So I really appreciate your very generous donation to the YouTube channel. Very, very cool. And that is definitely going to help keep pushing this channel forward. And then, of course, another super chat from Thomas Fox for $10. We love your channel, Chad. Favorite on YouTube. Keep on trucking, brother. From Thomas and Amy in Vermont. Thomas, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. I know it's late for you guys over here. We're approaching 10:15 p.m. over here on the West Coast. So for you guys on the East Coast, what are we? I think we're probably 3 hours. Is it 3 hours difference east to west? So you guys are after midnight there. So thank you for staying up so late and being part of the channel. And, of course, Mega Brocho. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. So, yeah, I wish YouTube would actually designate or translate the currency. I'm not sure how it figures that out, but yeah, craziness. My favorite music. I've seen that question pop up here a few times. Favorite music, gosh, depends on what mood I'm in, what I'm doing. I really will listen to anything. I'm not picky about music, like I know quite a few people can be. I love anything from country. I love gangster rap. I love electronic music. I could probably tell you more of what I don't like. I grew up listening to like 80s rock, grew up in the 80s. My parents always listened to music from the 70s and the 80s. So that's been a big part of my life, but, and I enjoy that, of course, for sure. I think probably what I don't listen to the most is rock. I don't ever find myself like listening to rock. I'll pull up some like old school Metallica from time to time or something like that and just be like, oh, I need to like just rock out and it feels good. But I don't listen to a lot of modern rock. I haven't for years. I used to a lot when I was into motocross, like back in the 90s and the 2000s, listened to a lot of rock, but not so much anymore. So, but if I'm out on the open road, like some good country is always good, like some old school country. I really enjoy Sturgill Simpson. Sturgill Simpson is good road trip music, but when it comes to sitting around a campfire after a long day of filming and all the filming's done and the food's been cooked and I can just chill out and relax, or maybe it's a day that I'm not filming and I'm sitting around the campfire with a good cup of whiskey what has become my absolute favorite is Charlie Crockett. And Charlie Crockett has just got a very unique style. It sounds old school. He's kind of still a modern day artist, but he's got some old school tunes. Charlie Crockett. It is the best campfire with a cup of whiskey music. So yeah, super cool. Charlie Crockett. Let's put that up there. Charlie Crockett. You guys go look him up on whatever your favorite streaming device is. Charlie Crockett. Podcasts. Yes, I listen to a lot of podcasts. To be honest with you, that's part of why I made the investment into this microphone and some of this audio equipment, is because I want to start a podcast. I feel like there's a lot to talk about. I mean, if we think about it, these live streams are basically kind of a podcast. And, here we've been talking for, where are we at? We started at 7. We're in at 3.25 hours. And this is basically a podcast. And I would love to start a Live in the Van Life podcast. I've made a few steps to get some equipment to where I could do this. And I think it could be quite the thing. I think it'd be really cool to be able to chat about stuff long form. That's exactly what we do here. Ooh, plus one for scary van story. I see that's popping up. Anyways, we'll definitely touch on that. Podcast definitely at some time will be happening. Need to figure out how to make that work. Overland Lady says +1 for scary van story. Luckily, I haven't had any crazy like urban stealth camping stories. I've never had anybody trying to break in my van. Knock on wood. I haven't had any animals approaching my van or trying to break in my van. I'd say probably the most nervous I've been in the van was out on the White Rim Trail, which I told that story earlier. The White Rim Trail. It's an 80-mile trek out through through Canyonlands National Park. You have to have a permit for it. It's 4-wheel drive required. I made the decision on my behalf, on my own, to break the rules and take my 2-wheel drive Vanagon out there. I know that's not the right thing to do, guys. I don't condone breaking the rules, but I broke the rules and I took my 2-wheel drive Vanagon out on the White Rim Trail. And I definitely got myself into some situations where I was pushing the limits of what I should have been doing with that Vanagon. Overall, it's not like anything scary, but the fact is I was doing it solo, and I'd been solo the whole entire day. I didn't see another human out there, and I'm out there miles and miles and miles and miles. I spent all day traveling and didn't see another person out there. And, it's amazing, mind-blowing, life-changing scenes out there. And so I'm just like super heightened with that. My senses are like overwhelmed, but I knew it was starting to get dark. And out on the White Rim Trail, when you apply for a permit, you have to pick a camp spot, and you absolutely have to stay in that camp spot. So the pressure was on to make it all the way to camp before dark. And it was starting to get dark. So the pressure was on, and it's getting dark and it's getting dark. And part of the challenge is like every corner that I come around, I want to film it because it's absolutely amazing. And I kept telling myself, stop filming. You got to get your ass to camp. And the trail was starting to get more and more gnarly. I could tell like it was starting to push the limits of the van again. I was like, okay, let's just get there. And it was just before dark, to the point where I could barely see what was kind of off in the horizon, and I could see this hill climb that was coming up, and I'm like, oh shit, I think my camp is on top of that. I've got to do that. So it's getting dark, and all your senses are just overwhelmed by this point. It's the end of the day. I'm tired, and I come around the corner, And the terrain that was in front of me that I had to climb up, I had no choice. I had to like pin it to win it. And I came around the corner. I was like, okay, here we are. Without even hesitating, I just got into the van and I made it up this first step. And I was like, oh shit, I can't believe the Vanagon actually made it up that. But as I came around, there was an even bigger obstacle in front of me. So here I am. I'm stuck between these two obstacles. I have nobody to spot me. It's dark. I can't see exactly what's going on. And, you know, the anxieties are starting to set in of like, shit, there's no way I can back down this. What I just came up, there's no way I can back out of here. And I am 99% sure, 99.999% sure that I can't make it up ahead of me. And so I jump out, I set up the camera, and I stack some rocks the best that I can. And there's no way I was going to back down out of there in the dark. So I just gave it a shot. And it was the craziest thing I've ever done in my van. And I pinned it, and I put everything, all the trust that I had into that Vanagon, just hoping that it was going to make it through to the other side. And that part's all in the video, the second part. And that damn Vanagon pulled me up out of there, and it just, it was to the point I knew it was something that I shouldn't have been doing in the Vanagon, but that was the scariest part. And if I had a 2-wheel drive, if I had a Land Cruiser, with 4-wheel drive, it'd be no problem. Wouldn't even think about it. But the fact I'm in 2-wheel drive, and, you know, it's just like, fuck, I'm out here all by myself. And if something to go wrong, like, I don't know what I'd do. There's no cell phone service out there. There's your 20, 30, 40 miles of walking out of there and up cliffs and shit. So I told myself, I had a good talk with myself after that one that, you know what? I'm never going to put myself in a situation like that. I knew better than that, but it was a good experience. Like, definitely after it was done, it was like, all right, we pulled through there. And that, you learn those lessons. Like, when you push yourself to that, you're like, okay, got no other choice but to figure it out. So I'd say that was probably the most nervous I've been in the van. You know, if I had another friend there helping me, help spot me, you know, the like mental support of like, oh dude, we got this. Like, there's 2 of us to help tackle it. But when you're out there all by yourself, like your anxieties are definitely there when you're by yourself. You miss that human interaction to kind of help calm yourself down in those situations. But you got no other choice but to push through and make it happen. So it was fun. It was fun. So with the Sprinter van, I would have all confidence that the van would actually make it. I think the challenge with that particular trail in the Sprinter van is just some of the overhead clearance up in there. But yeah. Sorry, I got to respond to this message here quick. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so the Sprinter van, but one thing that I did invest in, to help with, a situation like that, and it's more peace of mind, is, I invested into a Garmin InReach Mini, and basically it's a global satellite communication device, and it's also a GPS tracking unit, so you can use it for navigating. But essentially what it does is it hooks up to your smartphone or tablet device, your mobile device, via Bluetooth, and it has a satellite connection, but it allows you to be able to send text messages via satellite so that you can communicate with friends or family or loved ones to let them know, you know, where you're going. Or if you do have an emergency out there, it does have an SOS button so that you can push this in an emergency. It will notify it will notify the search and rescue, the local authorities, and get you help ASAP. So that's a great peace of mind, especially in those moments where you're just like kind of feeling the stress of being out there solo, being out there by yourself, and you just need to reach out to somebody just for a quick chat. It's nice to have the GPS, the Garmin InReach, and have that option when you're miles and miles and miles from any sort of cell phone reception or any other human contact. That can be very, very huge. So the Garmin InReach, that's very good. Pamela G, you just asked the question, do you ever feel lonely on the road? That kind of goes along with what I was just talking about. I do. Most of the time, I kind of feel like that's my superpower of I feel fine being out there on the road. The great thing about modern technology is that most human interaction, if we're not way off grid, is human interaction is just a click away. You know, you can always pick up the phone and chat with a friend via text or FaceTime or a phone call. But I've gotten to where I really enjoy my time out on the road by myself. It's very freeing. When you're out on the road, it's all up to you to decide what you want to do, where you want to go, the choose your own adventure. And the fact that, you know, hey, I'm driving down this road. If there's an interesting dirt road to the left or to the right, you make the decision with yourself. Do I want to go explore down that? You know, you don't have to collaborate with a group of people or, you know, you get to make all the decisions yourself. So I find that to be quite freeing. It's what you want to do, where you want to go, and how you want to do it. And especially when it comes to filming videos, it's as much work as it is doing it by myself. It's also a lot easier because when I need to pick up the camera and say something, I don't have to tell other people to be quiet. I don't have to ask them to move or, you know, it's just I pick up the camera and I say what I need to say when I need to say it. So there's a lot that I appreciate about being alone out there. But yeah, from time to time, you come across times where you're lonely. But you know what? That's when it's fun to dip into the local watering hole at the nearest little town and see what the locals are up to, belly up to the bar, and socialize with some of the locals. Because in that situation, you can meet a lot of interesting people. So that's always out there. So it's not like you're stuck in complete solidarity, confinement. You're not always stuck out there. So, but in that instance in White Rim Trail, it was definitely, it would have been good to have the InReach just to be able to vent for a second with somebody, just be like, holy shit, like that was crazy. I narrowly escaped that one. So, let's see. Got Eldad. My mom was helping me. If lots of you guys were interacting, Peggy on the live chat, she was really helping me field a lot of the questions and texting me. So that was a huge help. She has signed off and headed to bed, but if she's still on there, thank you very much for all your help, Mom. Really appreciate that. She's out across the county and she's headed to bed with Lola, which many of you guys have met on the channel before. Lola stays out with my mom. But also I have Eldad still fielding some of these questions that are coming through. And Eldad just sent one here that was in the chat line here. Do you think you will adventure in a different country? Absolutely. That's part of my long-term plan with the Sprinter van, is to get outside the box. I want to get up into Canada more. I miss being able to jump across the border into Canada and explore what it has to explore. And then all the way up into the Arctic Circle. But then going beyond that, I'd love to get down into Baja. I want to really explore Baja, Mexico, and what it has to offer. For a long time, I've viewed that as like van life Mecca, and being able to get down and explore that. So I want to do that. And Mexico, Central America, South America, and what about long-term, maybe around the world? I mean, like I always say, fuck it. Why not? So I don't know. Yeah. To answer your question, yes. Do I think I would ever travel to another country? I think that'd be super cool. For sure. Whew. Good talk tonight, guys. It's been fun. It's been fun going out and hanging out with you guys, chatting. We're still at 327 viewers. That's pretty phenomenal. At one point, we saw like 550, almost 600. So it's a good turnout on tonight's live stream. See Frankie's 220. Do you fancy Europe, Chad? I have been to Europe. Eldot and I have been over to Europe quite extensively for filming with Emanate. We filmed a lot of content for Triumph Motorcycles and Harley Davidson. We spent a lot of time in Spain. We went to Madrid. We went to Barcelona. We went to Valencia. Quite a few spots over in Portugal. We went to Lisbon. We went to Faro. We've been into France. We've been a lot into England. Some stuff around London. Also at the Triumph factory out in central London there. So yeah, definitely have loved being able to, let's see guys, lost video feed. Let me see if I can get us back on. Okay. So now we are on the computer monitor because my SLR has, my batteries on the SLR have gone dead. So now we're back to the computer monitor. So now you guys can see the difference between a crappy FaceTime camera and what the DSLR does for a webcam. So I'll finish it off on this just so at least we have something. It's not ideal by any means, but hopefully it will work for now. Okay. We do have a super chat that popped up here and looks like from Russia with 2,000 rupees. Congrats on your new Sprinter van. All of the effort you put into it is insanely cool. Hope the Vanagon is going to be fine. Thank you very much for the super chat and also for the kind words about the Sprinter van. The Vanagon will definitely be fine. We'll get that thing tuned up and we'll get it out on some more adventures. It's definitely not the last that it's been seen here by any means. So thank you very much for that donation. All right, guys. Let's see. All right, guys, I think I'm going to start wrapping this up and call it an evening. Finish my cup of whiskey here. God, this camera sucks on the exposure. Blown out. Which is the best place I have ever camped? I would have to say the coolest spot I have ever camped in my van, by far, would be in the video that I have on my channel. This would have been posted back in October, and I have it titled as The Most Rugged Road in Van Life. And in that particular video, I was out in Idaho. I was up near the Sawtooth Mountains, and I took an overland route that took me up to 10,000 feet elevation to the top of Pinon Peak. And you literally crawl all the way, like switchbacks that go all the way to the top of this peak, and you find yourself at the very, very tip top. And I drove all the way up there and was able to camp for the night. It was absolutely the most spectacular view I've ever seen. It was phenomenal up there. It was very cool. So that was definitely the coolest spot. If you guys haven't checked that out, that's perhaps could be my second, maybe my third most favorite video is most rugged road in van life. But yeah, super cool. I think that's what we need to do. I think on the next live stream, I think there's a way that I can get a like a picture-in-picture up here, and I could probably play some YouTube videos so that as these YouTube videos, as I'm talking about these different experiences, I could be putting these on the live stream. So I'll have to look into that for the next go round. That would be quite fun, I think, to be able to talk about some of these experiences as you guys are asking these questions. So, all right, guys, I am going to wrap this up. We've been at it now for 3.5, almost 4 hours. So a heck of a live stream. And I want to thank all of you guys that have been a part of it and making it a fun night, hanging it out, all of the great questions. I couldn't do this without you guys. All of you guys make this possible. You guys provide the inspiration for me to keep going and doing this stuff. So I can't express to you how much I appreciate you guys. So super stoked for that. And yeah, look at all of you guys that are still hanging in. I know most of you guys have been here since the very, very beginning. I know there's a large amount of you guys that have made it all the way through. So that is super, super cool. But yeah, all right, guys, I think this about wraps it up for this here live stream adventure. And I'll see you guys on the next Living the Van Life adventure. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure and hit the subscribe button. If you do hit the subscribe button, make sure and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button, because that is what's going to notify you anytime videos like this are uploaded. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And yeah, until next time, bleh. See, that's where I edit this stuff, but now you guys get to see it like live stream, because I'm always messing it up. That's why I like to talk to the camera by myself, because anytime I like mess up, nobody's there to see it. Anyways, I'm out of here, guys. Peace out. Keep on trucking.